From Gandhi, yeah?
Yeah, he's from Gandhi.
No, I'm from Gandhi. I'm trying
Oh,
to tell you. I grew up with Dookie and 220 Sugar.
You serious?
Watch my father used to drive taxi. Remember the days when yeah, a special cassette now.
Yeah, the A-track.
No, what I used to
Oh,
get
you mean the
first set of dub. That was more like a dub. That was the first dub place. You are not riding an HAM 2797. No slamming of the doors. No smoking of the cigarette. All that. Well, I know Duke used to do it. Oh God, I'm not calling him the
220 Sugar.
220 Sugar. Yeah, yeah. When you had that in your car
Yeah.
and you had a little purple light in the corner and the small fan. You in the game or you feeling special?
Damn, son. Wow.
So you had Dookie on your thing. So you're dealing with DJs as well as thing too?
DJ, golden DJs of the golden era. That was the name of the program.
Nice.
Right?
On radio?
On radio, live on 995. Because I like to be creative. I just always think out of the box. So yes, they would have had interviews, but what I did is what Chinese Laundry and I'm doing now for Carnival, having interviews with artists and thing on camera.
Oh, like live radio kind of vibes?
Yes, I was doing that since like Howard Stern vibes. So I was
Yeah. Live radio, yeah.
I started doing it. I have and to tell you, I had a camcorder with those mini DV cassettes. That is why I had recorded. I have that.
All right, so it wasn't before streaming on the internet and thing. It was just you're filming it.
Yeah, I was filming it live because you see the concept is that's my concept. You know, when I ask them to do it, there's like coffee the single world. Usual thing I get to them, usual thing. But when it jumped off serious because Dookie ended up coming back twice.
Ah, nice.
Because it was only for 1 hour. So I had Dookie select music.
Oh, that's how we had it. Yeah.
While I film, while I record. So I had him, I had John Gill, I had Hurricane George, and I did that program with them, and then election came. And when election came, that's when Manning called the snap election.
Oh, that good little vibe.
And that's 2010.
We should.
Yeah, this is what I'm telling you. This is 2010.
Okay.
So
So that's the Jim and the idea then.
Yeah. But I started something even before on 105. Where I started doing something called the last Retro Thursday for the year. That's be around October. October month then. Because then 105 go full parang Christmas.
Right.
November,
Oh, okay. Sense.
December, right?
Yeah.
And the last Retro Thursday for the month lasted straight into November because I came up with a concept. Listen, anybody out there have cassettes? Right?
What year was this?
Bring it. This was 2007,
Oh,
2008.
shit. I enjoy it.
Yeah. And it's like, who have cassettes out there? Bring it in. I will edit the beginning, but of course, we'll organize. I end up organizing a hamper out of my own pocket for the person who won. Usual thing, well, that was 105 now. I mean, I've been there from however long, since 2006, 2007. And they were like, again, coffee. I go up, we gotta finish Retro Tuesday. That stood up so much, it like licked on my godness. That's what it did. Or a kohong Japanese. Everybody started gravitate towards it now. Everybody started pull, everybody started coming like cassettes by the bags, and people sitting along and waiting on the cassette. They're not leaving, no. They didn't leave.
Yeah.
So I had to go inside and sit down. I took a bunch of hours with the first set.
You know, something I was thinking as you're talking is that there are a lot of things I think you used to do and collectively we used to do that was out of the box, right? But the timing in terms of, because I used to do a junction show before, you know.
Really?
And this guy used to have a club down at the end of St. James there. He was a government minister, Diego Martin.
He
died.
Yeah.
I can't name slipping me right now. But we used to do it when, I can't remember the date.
Diego Martin, that was Franklin?
Nah, fattish guy. He had a Caribbean corner or something, and I was down at the end of St. James, the last lights. So we used to do something similar to what we're doing now, but I'm saying it had no video. It had no internet. Gosh, yeah, you didn't slip him. I think he was in Hans seats back in the days. So we used to do that, and I'm saying it had no proof now. It had real magic, it had thing and real stories and things, but have no proof.
It was recorded?
Well, I can't even start to go. This is
Listen,
could be 2003 somewhere around there.
Wait, that's
Yeah.
long.
That long. And what I'm saying that the point I'm making is that cassette thing, I could come back.
Well, yeah.
Because people looking for things that are original now. They're looking for the real.
But that's the thing. So when I did the program now, it got so popular. It got like real popular. It lasted the month of November. Well, the month of November, because the retro tours are supposed to end in at the end of October.
October, no, right, yeah.
It went through to the whole month of November, where sponsors end up coming on board now and sponsor people. Yeah, it was.
The concept is you're bringing a cassette.
Bring a cassette.
You have a
In the
cassette.
beginning of
So I have a Papa Rocky cassette.
I have a Papa Rocky, I have a Dr. Hyde.
So what I do is I my cassette. I bring it to you.
Yeah, I take it just record because we had in 105 we had that machine.
That machine, right.
That was properly well
Yeah,
maintained.
old, yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah.
I know them things.
Real
Yeah.
We had everybody, and remember 105 on TBC was like
Old school too. Yeah. So them had.
everything that has anything to do with audio,
Yeah.
they had something for it.
So you're bringing a cassette.
Bringing a cassette, I recorded the beginning of the cassette. That's the intros because it's like how many different intros do you have? How many different cassettes do you have? And as a woman, mash up everybody way. She came in about until I stopped recording 10 different cassettes. So she had Dr. Hyde.
Volume whatever and the
One,
General
two, three,
Grant
four,
and
everything, and I
different
don't
kind-
know, yes,
Yeah.
and taking pristine condition. What she pulled out was a cassette that she had from her. Well, that them days was 8-track,
Yeah.
and she had it from her father, and her father had a mix, a mix with Papa Rocky and Madman Maddy together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
8-track.
from 1980 something.
Jeez.
She had that and blew everything.
So whoever had the best collection
Different color, yes,
would win.
yes.
Right.
So the program went on for a few months, and then
I like that.
for the few weeks,
Yeah.
and then what happened is that I started bringing people from TBC. Who started to work with TBC. I recorded that as well. So that is like this whole thing started since then.
Yeah.
So I recorded like people from traffic department, people from accounts who started at TBC back in the 80s and who were in the 70s.
You still have that footage on now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it on that on my mini DV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have it. I have those.
I didn't think I'd come back, but yeah, for sure.
Like I said,
For sure.
so it's like this podcast, like I say, now is this modern way of doing it.
Yeah.
But I have been trying at it for years.
I
and
get you now,
because of
yeah.
things in between, it stopped, and
Yeah.
and again the concepts and things, because of the fact that I like to create things that are attractive for people who will like, hey boy, reminisce. So like I'm a old school buff. I love that nostalgic feeling. I love that
I
nostalgia.
think where the advantage you have is the fact that how to package the thing now. Because at the end of the day, old school is old school, right? But if you come with them kind of concepts now, it means that it might be more palatable to the international audience, more palatable to the younger person. Because they say, but wait, I didn't expect it to come like that now. You
So
know?
this is the whole concept of this now with us, with getting people. And again, like I said, what reignited that was when Blacks passed away.
Yeah.
All I said is Blacks passed away with a wealth of history that
Right.
people would not have heard. You would have gotten interviews with artists long time. Like for instance, so this is not the only song. This is Calypso Showcase basically.
Yeah. I got you.
Right?
Yeah.
And
True.
you only have a 1 hour with ads in between for Calypso Showcase back then. Now it's free. You have YouTube where you have unlimited time to sit down and
At least it could
get
put it down in history for posterity.
Yeah. Get down inside and not doing
I
that.
think I trying to do some of that work as well too.
Yeah,
Before, as I know we're going into season 3. I didn't mean to, but one of the concepts behind season 3 is, everybody's call up Valentino, give him an award, thing. But it's just about let Sparrow sit down and give him an award. But if you go back into the material and find the things that's so compatible and relative, and
To know.
they make the connections now, and then you put it in a way that, it's funky, it's new. So, yeah. So I understand that sense of the keeping the history and also the innovation as well too.
It's important. It's important because we have to archive. I mean, there are archives of our history. I just yesterday was looking at stuff with Shadow
Yeah.
that a young lady put up.
Yeah.
Right, and not that I didn't see it before, but it was refreshing now to see it again. And I think it's the only first time I saw an actual interview with Shadow, because Shadow was one of those.
He didn't need to do no.
And there was this one interview that he did, and he was speaking about when he came in town.
Yeah.
Really, and basically his
No, sorry, that's how we tell the story to it.
yes,
In terms of,
He's a-
as you say,
he's a massive story.
and then I watch back and I dress back and I say, well, yeah, okay, they're ready for me yet. So I gotta come with something else. Just like Stone Shadow, it's only one shadow, yeah, though.
Yeah, there's only one, and his delivery of his songs is like cheese on rice.
Yeah.
I mean, his intent was clear. He going after Kitchen and Sparrow.
Yeah, that part, yeah.
He was intent.
Looking forward.
Yes, I'm looking for idea. Them men and them, you see, men and them real good.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's a respectful word too, like that kind of
Musical
challenge.
messages,
Yeah.
musical.
Yeah, they get, yeah.
But boy, was it? Last night I sat down and I said, boy, today is one of the days that, we could all talk.
Right.
But come on and deal with somebody like you. I had to come and clean out some cobweb and really do some kind of research and all kind of thing until I said, listen, usually all I do is we come with a vibe of when you're on the block, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Having a drink, we just vibes in about time. Is that official?
Let me shift my chair a little bit.
Yeah. To get comfortable there.
So we good here? Right.
Official, interview. So
Yes, man.
we'll start the thing officially today.
Hold on. So we like that?
Yeah, we like it. We got a thing there on the zone.
Alright.
Yeah, man. Motor that's good. Yeah, we in the zone. And he's saying, welcome. We're on the block again. Yet another one of the days where we have royalty in the house. And like I say, people on the outside may or may not know, or probably have forgotten, or the whole concept and the idea about this is to remind people of the quality of entertainers, and the quality of output of products from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean, to an extent. And today is one of the days that I was just mentioning that I have had the opportunity to meet this guy. Well, I didn't mention about it. I have had the opportunity to meet this guy years ago. And he probably would not have remember, may not have remember, but it was the galvanized experience. That was some years ago. We were doing CDs back then.
Yeah.
Galvanized was an album, is it?
I released about 4 albums in that same format.
In the format, right?
Yeah.
So, but one of the formats you were on 105, and that's how long ago that was.
I was what?
I was on 105 at the time.
And you interviewed me or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back
This is after Kiskili and after.
after, yeah.
Oh,
After.
right.
It's 2000s. It's 2000s.
Yeah.
And somebody. I can't
And
remember.
somebody, right, Jay? Yeah.
But it was an interview set up by, I think it was George Gonzalez. And I mean, back then, 105, was like virtually the cultural
Yeah.
ambassador, so to speak, with regards to we would play soca right through the air.
Yeah. Yeah,
But we're here today, and I am very, very proud to have this guy and this icon, this icon in the presence right now, because he is somewhat also a catalyst for the part of the Rapso fraternity from back then, and also a guy who is very intelligent and very determined. When things are wrong, he is vocal about it, and he makes no apologies. And he's,
That was a long time, remember?
no, 90% of the
He's-
time,
stay quiet.
he's a guy that he basically is an activist for the culture. And ladies and gentlemen, I have been trying to plot an introduction for him, but he needs no introduction whatsoever. He's an writer, a poet, an entertainer across the board, because his presentation and his presentation towards anything, whether it be music or storytelling, he is super phenomenal when it comes to those things. And he is also now currently
Host,
host,
promoter,
promoter, the whole 9 years. He is
make a thing happen.
He's
yeah.
that guy. He's that guy. And again, it's all about the culture. 9,000%. Welcoming to the block, or on the block today, as we would say. We're on the block, and when you're on the block, anything can happen on the block, anybody can pass through. Ladies and gentlemen, I had no idea that he was from Sangre Grande, which makes me feel even more proud, because that's going up my way. And he is here today. The man, Ozzy, or OZY, or OZZY?
OZY.
OZY.
Ozzy Merrique.
Special and unique name as well, because usually Ozzy is OZZY.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Ozzy Merrique. And yes, he has roots and heritage and roots in Guagua area as well. We're going to get to all of that.
It's true, right? Try. No shits.
We'll get to all of that. Ladies and gentlemen,
No shits.
today, Mr. Ozzy Merrique.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Coffee. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on the block.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a minute, and I mean, I gave out piece of the intro. What I would ask people, and anybody who comes on the block.
Yeah.
It's like virtually the first thing is how to get to know you is like where you hail from, and I know you can go.
You're good.
Dive down into a little bit of history.
You say Guayade, I know you see the memory thing. Yeah. Then you was you used to come up to my grandfather thing.
Yeah, well, I'm born and going where?
All right, it's true.
That's part of my extended family as well.
It's true. My father from Guaya.
Yeah.
Them is original hardcore. Well, you know that story, but maybe they don't know.
People don't know father's.
Father is Oswald Merrique, Senior. Actually, real name is Boniface.
Boniface.
Saint Boniface.
Nah, what?
Saint Boniface.
Saint Boniface?
No, he's
Oh,
named
he was
after the
Saint.
Saint
Oh, the
Boniface,
Saint.
right?
Right.
And for years he Reliant, right? So for
Yeah.
years he would use Oswald and they'd call him Ozzy. So he's the original Ozzy.
Right.
That's his first name. And like years later he realized it was his second name. So you had to go and get all them kind of to change the name after Davis and thing.
And sorted out.
You understand?
Wow.
But he's original guy. My granny is Loretta Lazama Merrique. So the family is spread, and I'm sure if we explore it, we probably related.
I tell my grandmother and the Merricks were cousins. First cousins. Yeah.
See what I'm talking about.
My
I was free to go and watch girls because we like that is Scrunter. That is your family. What can you tonight?
Yeah, I never had
So then my father left Goya at some point. Everybody's at some point, and then he came down to Grand. He met my mom, but my mom have roots in Manzan.
Right.
So that is the countryside. So that's my roots. And then we moved down to La Orquita.
Not too far.
Yeah, we lived Grandy for years, different parts of Grandy. Then we moved down to La Orquita. I was going Holy Cross at the time. And we lived there a couple of years well, and then everybody kind of spell out, people get big and thing, you know?
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, he passed away a couple of years back. So I'm back in La Orquita now.
Oh, wow.
You dig?
Okay.
House and thing.
Yeah.
And so that's essentially it. But in between that, Tobago,
Yeah, you
Nelson Street,
Yeah, Nelson
Sawa.
Street. Serious.
I live, what's the name of that place in the back, going up wrong by Piccadilly there?
Round the bridge? On the greens?
well, behind the bridge, but up Bath Street, Plannings. I live.
Barcelona? No, Barcelona.
No, Bath Street. This is
Bath Street.
Bath Street, they're going to be the hill where you have a nice little house in the corner. Like just before you bend by Piccadilly.
Piccadilly, the one on the left.
Street and then go back and get back around. Wrong way, Tricky and then it's up on that side.
Okay.
Real Stans was living in that Plannings for years actually.
Oh, serious?
And okay, that's just a few. Yeah, sample. We used to do a lot of work in the spot in Tanapuna called Montigran. It's behind Yui. Kind of between Yui and Tanapuna.
Montigran?
Montigran.
What was that? A club or something?
Montigran is a little village. Like
Oh, serious?
yeah.
Oh, that's why you call in the back? I never knew what you call in the back
There's no
there.
mountain there. I mean big mountain, but there's no
Well, the mountain actually over on the other side.
Yeah, I watch it there. You can see the mountain clear.
Yeah.
And Sasha, you grew up in the back there too. So we used to have a nice musical, cultural vibes. Through a bridge and a man called it's kind of my uncle, big brother, Kinky Dan Branford, drummer. So most of what I started in terms of culture and Rapso and Hope Front and things started down in the back there.
Yeah.
So I called that my second home. So that's just
I
where I'm from in a nutshell.
in a nutshell. Wow. I never knew that was. I had no idea any back there what the name is. That's just like literally.
If you come around by the UV Sports Center,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like Streatham Lodge, that little cross street there, and you could come back around. And go straight
here?
to
The highway.
where is now? Oceans, yeah. So,
Down there. Really Marvin.
yeah.
So it's back down there, literally right down there.
Yeah, because this is Streatham Lodge cemetery right here, so you can see me right here. So,
But you moved around quite a bit because
quite a bit.
of the entertainment, or because of
I was just wayward to a large extent to it. Yeah, not seriously. And I think I was fearless in that sense, in the sense that wherever I live, you know? So Belmont was also a very important place for me culturally, and you could probably get a nice little one bedroom cheap, and you could walk the town.
Yes.
You know? So
I don't know what
Yeah.
I personally, between you and I thought you were living in Belmont. I thought you were
Belmont is the
from
place,
Belmont.
though.
I thought you were from Belmont.
Nah, I wasn't from Belmont.
But well, I mean, we get down to the wire now and get down to the nitty-gritty of this stuff. Yeah,
But then the spirit is in Belmont. I live about 4 different places in Belmont. I used to work at a little store in Belmont even after I started to sing called Paper Tigers on Utig Road.
Okay.
No, after.
After is that?
Yeah, like I walk
So when yeah.
sometimes.
So hold on, so you say, I mean, you were from your uncle, was it? Where the music?
Who can get on?
Yeah.
With my brethren.
Okay.
Down in Montigran.
Yeah, Montigran, yeah.
No, that's my creative partner for years. Even before, even when I was going UE and thing, he used to have a job in UE. So
Wait,
like right
hold on,
around
stop.
there, right?
Back up. You have a degree?
No.
Okay, but you went to UE.
Yeah. I'm officially an undergrad.
Run through that first.
Quickly, well,
And what year was this?
I beat C talking about years, but I do A levels in St. George's College, right? I would have been what I do the year I remember obviously is I would have been my second year in UE, and that would have been like 1990. I was repeating my second year. So 1990 came, and around that time, I'd hook up with this dude. Used to play drums, used to work in UE too, and all the little concerts we used to have, all the halls, I would go up and do that thing now. I was like performance and that kind of thing.
Right.
So I had a song called, wasn't really a song, a poem. Wasn't a proper rap, so yeah. It was a piece called Nile Woman. Come Nile Woman, come Nile Woman, come Nile Woman, come. Come Nile Woman, come Nile Woman, come Nile Woman, come. So I had a girlfriend at the time. She used to dance and some concert we do, and she do a dance and he play the drum and things. So since then, so let me say 89, we talking about, yeah. So and then 1990 came, and well, you know what happened in 1990.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that was kind of the jump off because I think I write my first official rap. So, I mean, I was writing Kaiso and thing before poetry.
And doing it yourself or for people?
Remember in 1989, you see, that's why I podcast because I tell my age.
No, lash.
I can't play the boy again, but 89,
Yeah.
89, 90, 71, 81. Yeah, I was like 17, 18, 19, and that generally, right?
No, what was, yeah, okay, well, cool. But what I was asking is that what you were writing calypso and things
I was
then
writing to sing.
for yourself.
Yeah, I was singing
Oh.
in school. I sing. I think I've been in my 5 years performing in Holy Cross up must even one crown.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But then I went George's and I started feeling myself now.
Yeah.
89 now. No, I like.
Holy Cross is where Rima.
Yeah, Rima.
Nice.
Up the hill, Calvary Hill. And then I went down to George's to do A levels.
George's way too way.
Yeah. And you ask any George's person, all that Nadia and all of them things. I run in George's now, glad, and tell myself, yeah man, I'm gonna make my name now. So plus that girls so you gotta perform with a little bit more enthusiasm. So because that boy is school. So
Oh yeah.
I go on and I try to remember the year, boy. Outside the year. It was 88. It could have been 89.
Into 90.
Wait. We did party time in 89 with that group called Curry Crab and Dumpling, which was a repeat of a thing we did in St. George's, either the carnival that year or the carnival before. So let me just say the carnival 89, they had a lip sync and calypso competition.
In the school.
Yeah.
And I'll take that.
No, I lie, I only lip sync twice. In first year I do something called, I do a lip sync with Crazy Drive It. Come Crazy Drive It.
Yeah.
No, you go fix it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think I had on a thing and tools and
Would you would have emulated Crazy? Any answer?
not really though. I
No, you had the own. You had the
I was
own.
like a mechanic.
Well, okay.
I just felt like a mechanic, but I didn't really do the crazy with the hair and this kind of thing. And the following year now, we had to like the curriculum number, you do shadow. Are you feeling the feelings? And I think it was nothing is original on this one, right?
Yeah.
So we had take it's not a Muppet Show thing where some guy, I think it was Pigs in Space, and they up with power saws.
Yeah.
Teach that. So I had Scurry Crab and Dumpling. So that kind of fattish guy and a skinny guy. Even fellas wasn't really performance, but they was there. And say, okay, we do this for St. George's and win. So I lie on the table now and I have a little screen and one mask, one with a saw, one with a hammer and ting. So I lie down and then they pretending they're operating on me now. So every time, so I can then, and they go like, are you feeling the feeling this? Went on the place. And then I think I went out first, I don't think I ever had another one. First double crown when I in St. George's. I had
Back to back.
write a track called
How is calypso now?
yeah, well that calypso and lip sync was
in the thing, yeah. It was in the
late
80s, yeah.
So that was the lip sync, right? The shadow. Then I see now I go in and do I write a song called my mother addicted, father addicted, sister addicted, brother addicted to be young and be restless. Face mashup, fine. Like Chili Baby.
Oh yeah, because Young and Restless
Was
was
the
the
thing at the
thing.
time. So talking about my neighbor, so unfortunate. Foot sprain when she drummed the gate.
Yeah.
Running so fast to see Young and Restless on the TV. To see cricket make up with you have it now on weekends, so it's no food for the children, and it's parlor thing for all our we.
Oh, parlor thing.
Mother addicted, father addicted.
That song bad. That song real bad.
But here I win now. That we was talking about packaging before now. Here I win. And get her that girl because she passed away now. So I can't remember she ain't right now either too, but she used to play piano. So my last verse now, she come on stage and started to play the theme.
The Young and Restless team. Mash up.
I say, hold on. Cut. My performance done. I don't go and see my show.
Mash up.
I win the crown.
Mash up.
You take the lip sync thing to party time.
Right.
In 89. And then to make a long story short, we run 8 last place in the final. And but we get the prize for best local performance.
Nice.
And thing. But I wasn't satisfied, so you could talk again. But go ahead.
You tell me, well,
I wasn't satisfied.
You're
I not going there for no special prize.
Yeah.
I going there to win.
Yeah, you.
So that's how to win, boy. With a calypso and men dancing and thing and.
But that was
boys,
a lip sync competition.
And thing, but it had a talent part of it too. But they bring that in after. It was lip sync and dance.
Yeah.
So men going up there doing sometimes I feel I like to get away and then doing for the Motown Philly and that kind of thing. But I'll be honest too, because I think
Was that the year Oscar was there?
I know I mentioned Oscar because I can't mention Oscar because I wasn't the first to really represent properly
On the local.
with the local scene. So
Right.
he had do the
Brigo.
right? And I think Sanel Dempster
Sinel.
was in party time.
I think I heard that. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I can't remember what she did. But yeah, so then we went. So I wanted to win. So 1990 came, and I wanted to win. So that was the plan. So continue.
Yeah, but we are the block, you know, big. I mean, one thing is just, is you see the
Are
thing
you
about
trying
that.
to remember what question that asked me in the first place?
That's no, the question was about the calypso and when the music started for you, but,
Right, yeah.
so that's how you get into it. But again, it's rich history. It's history that people on the outside may have, would not have known or may have forgotten, or probably those of them know, especially.
I forget. I forgot. Surprised I remember how to sing them thing.
Because it's called a catalyst.
Yeah.
When you start one thing, sometimes it just open up and boom. The floodgates open because it's all about literally nostalgia.
Yeah.
They see that feeling of
You understand? I
back
guess
then.
nobody will ask me that.
Yeah, don't because
Nobody ever asked me that.
nobody, you see nobody interested in that. Let's think about this. This is what we do. Now we're on the block. When you're on the block, literally. But
Yeah.
you know what's the funny thing about being on the block? The funny thing about being on the block is you live with somebody for years and years and years, and you don't know the real name.
Yeah. Yeah.
You whatever alias. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
If sorry to say, well, even if you're not a programming city manager, Talbot Jones.
Oh shit.
Says, no, just saying.
Yeah.
Yellows. Oh, yellows.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the thing because a lot of people just hang out and for years and just honestly
Don't know.
don't know the real name. So there will be a lot of things that people may not know
People
about.
close, people real close to me don't know the stories we could be talking about. Right
Yeah. And again, some of your partners see this or your friends from back then see this and can turn around and say, oh, wait now, boy, I remember boy, I was the boy, and probably maybe a reconnection at some point in time. And it's all about actually, you know, like literally getting to and literally acknowledging the fact that people who, what you see now, or people who were doing stuff back then,
with their history and with
their history, yeah, man. You had to come down in a zone where it is you telling me you run through party time. Did you ever win?
All right.
Story goes like this.
Let's go.
Once upon a time.
So I say boom now. All right. I'm trying to see if I can line it up
Properly?
when I leave UE. But I didn't leave UE. I leave UE after the coup. So it would have been.
Also, it was still in you. No?
I still didn't UE on time.
Well, when they go in parties, I mean, like after George's.
89, yeah.
After George's?
Yeah.
After
So
George's.
yeah. So we do the thing, we do the 89 thing, whatever, and after that we used to actually, when you perform in parties, then you used to actually get shows and things. I mean, you go in a little school and go out.
Yeah,
and
people see
sing,
that was
you know.
the biggest thing.
Yeah,
Party that
understand?
was actually the biggest platform for local entertainment. I have partners from Belmont Intermediate in late 90s. Hamid and they used to dance.
Yeah.
Painted Faces,
Yeah.
Emil Gittins, all
I
of
used to
that.
get work, this boy who running,
Hamid still dancing up to now.
sometime I spoke to him recently, kind of really recently, but kind of way. Look, that boy was the manager Caribbean Airlines now, Gavin. He was that big dance, he had a group, I think his group was Eclectic or something. But anyway, so in 1990 now,
Yeah.
boom, I see now, me going back with the Ferry Club and Upton again. I see how to do something different.
Ice.
Hey, come on.
Ice, right?
Yeah, so you see boom now. We go do
Not the next one. Not the next one.
Trade secret.
Yeah.
So I say, right. And that time too, I think that our preface is by saying that it's not really a boast, it's just an acknowledgement that I come from a cultural family. You know, my grandfather, Calypso, and the late great surpriser, right?
Surpriser.
Yeah.
Surpriser was your grandfather?
Yeah.
You,
Janice.
Janice, your aunt?
Yeah, so that's my mother Guaya family.
Oh,
That's my
shucks.
father Guaya family.
Oh, I didn't know your mother had family. Anyhow, wow.
Right, so I had to preface it.
Yeah.
So on my
So
father's side now.
that's in you?
But on my father's side now, his mother was known as the prima donna, the prime belly queen of Guayamayaro for like 100 years. She performed in all kinds of places. She used to come down in town and teach.
Best village? Dancing?
Yeah, besides that too, because when she had the authentic folk.
Yeah.
So people used to look to her to get the proper movements in our school and that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
So I come from that. So I say this to say that I made a small circle coming back to self in terms of culture. Because I grew up in it. So I didn't have to go through the whole thing. So I was hardcore. We Chinese, we had to find myself identity-wise. And that time, Rudder was representing on a certain level from 85 come up, so we was, and culturally too, there was fashion and art and this kind of thing, local, was like, oh, let's do the cloth.
Yeah.
Let's do ragamuffin. So I say, well, I'd rather 1990, let me do it. This is before the coup, so
Before the coup in 1990?
here the heights.
Wow.
Remember, I would have decided that maybe June,
Right.
right? Because
Part
by
of
the
them
time it
was
would have been July, August.
Yeah.
So I would have done that in June. So I would have been prepping. And I got so organized because I was in a little theater group at the time called Cookie Productions with a guy called Ray Gonzalez, Heather Wilshire, a guy called Froggy, and Deanie's athlete living out in thing now. Everybody's scattered all around the world. So I used to move with them, used to do storytelling in libraries and stuff. And then I say, something here, what? Let me deal with this party time as we dealing with our production. So I had makeup, I had a manager, I had a team, and by the time price was like $2,000. I said, well, look, we go split everything in 10. But it was just fun now. Dancers, I make costumes. Can't really guy I went by to get the costumes made and stuff like that, whatever. All this advice. So we put together, we had rehearsal thing, had somebody making sure. So I was doing David Waters 1990. So I had the boots, I had the limp. And this girl she had done, I think was a prince. She had put on a beard. Can't remember her name right now. She had changed her name a couple of times. But anyway, so I call her and say, how you get the beard? She say, Vaseline and chip up hair, like from a wig. And sprinkle the hair on the Vaseline. And then shape it and put a powder on your face and things. So get the beard.
Oh,
I still can hardly go up in.
Ball play.
But the breed business.
Yeah.
So I had the rudder beard. I had the little plaits and thing, because that time the journal started coming and thing. And I said, boom, now I need clothes. So for the auditions, I think I must just improvise because I was painting t-shirts and things too. So I had that kind of rudder style at the time because I was getting clothes from the village.
Okay.
And hand painted thing with bananas and all this kind of thing, right? Boom,
The villages?
The village was two dudes out I think it was based down in Woodbrook side.
All right.
Geoffrey Stanford and a kind of Chinese Chinny guy. Can't remember his name right now. They both passed it. But Geoffrey Stanford was a pillar of local Trinidad fashion. He was the first man to paint phase 2 pans with bananas and thing, and how everything was hand painted.
Oh wow!
Like 100 hand painted.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean?
Okay, understand.
Screen that thing.
Understand. All right.
So he used to do clothes for Rudder and Tambo.
Oh, and you went to the source?
No.
Oh. You did this.
Sauce.
Okay.
I say, but wait now. I don't know how the connection was made. But I guess I was in my let it happen phase.
Make it happen. Phase. Yeah.
I say, let me find out if I could talk to the brother.
Oh.
And ask him if I could borrow some clothes. Just like after the prelims and things, whatever. So I was already probably in the semis by then. So
Yeah, you
sometimes I like Robin Foster, you get a story.
Really?
I never get the story too.
really out of the box thinking. Like,
Telling her I leave lock at them.
you had some cojones.
I had some, yeah. And I lost them in the middle and I think I'll probably get back one now. No.
Nah, but that's
That's
serious
like
vibes.
those. I don't know
serious
from
vibes.
Adam.
Yeah.
But I always admire his work and that kind of thing, and yes, I was a big fan.
That's the idea.
So I said, let me ask the brother if I could borrow some clothes. So that's when the man might just give me something you don't use, or a t-shirt, just to get the effect now.
Are you still thinking that you would give something?
I don't know what I was thinking. I find the
The Merrickes are very forward. Eh? They don't back out from nothing at all. They're very forward.
Angela and
Yeah, they're very forward. Of course,
and stuff,
I know. Got these and what you making joke? Right? Yeah, he pops.
So I go on, I find Rudder number, go on my fake phone booth, call him. He say thing.
Man, say phone booth and all that.
I think
Phone booth.
he would have probably been familiar with the fact that I was making a bit of a splash in the party time as well too. So then from last year, my name was calling Alden. So I go on down my Rudder.
You call him. What was that
call him.
calling?
He say, well, come on, we work out sometime. So part one done. So I leave Logita now, take about 4 cars, reach down Digo Martin or Pity Valley. I think it was Pity Valley. I think.
Them days on the highway?
Right, yeah?
Or Main Road Street?
I didn't think the bus route was extended yet, but let me be real. I can't remember the exact partner, but I know I reach.
Yeah.
And I go on by the house and I see a guy. I see that David. He say, nah, it's David, other brother. I say, okay, I can make a song. And then then I go on and a little scringy dog at the back.
I don't get you. I can make a song.
And he points, so he said, go so, I go on so. And this scrawny dog come out, and then another come out. He say, you see this dog really back at people along.
Oh, shucks. Oh, shucks.
I say,
Is that a freak out?
I say that, just take it. So I go on, he said, talk to me. I said, well, I think I'm doing this thing, that tribute kind of vibes. The man lay out
And rather could
the
address.
blue one, the blue suit that he was in.
What was your size? I mean, it's all, but
No, we around, yeah, and that was baggy.
okay.
No, the fit wasn't the issue at the point. I was just in amazement.
Of course, Rudder, David Michael Rudder, you see, gang.
Different thing.
Uh-huh.
And this might be a bit creative in my memory, but he lay out the yellow suit.
The infamous yellow suit.
That when the crown,
Yeah,
the Ifa,
exactly.
Ifa Orisha symbols are painted on it. Oh God, and he laid it out. See this 25 hours. Yeah.
He told you that?
Yeah.
This is.
What's the finals, yeah?
I know. This is what I'm saying. Shucks.
See this for the finals. Yeah, pause race kind of like that.
But clearly.
Yeah. Damn. I say, all right. So I take it. He said, just take good care of it because, I want it back. I say, cool. Fast forward, I perform, I win. You wasn't there for the Sunday when he just walked in when, by accident, when Freetown was singing. You didn't see the moment. He come a little bit after.
Yes.
He just happened to be there and walking at the exact moment when Freetown was singing his song, the remix.
Yes.
And he just walked up and the exact moment, just started singing.
Was he on stage?
He went on stage and no, but he was just passing through. They did not organize it. I was the promoter of the thing and I watched it and I said, but wait now. Mohammed and tell me they was invited, brother.
Yeah.
Mohammed fall down in surprise.
Oh, shucks.
Everybody started crying.
Yeah.
Anyway, so brother, and do the same to me upper level for party time.
You
And he
serious?
didn't say nothing.
How's the finals?
For the finals. So I have my thing, I have a tea, ting. Brother just walk in. Whoever was managing at the time, ting, they carry him upstairs and then sit down. Give him a seat, give him what you want to drink and thing. Well, that put me in a next track.
Yeah. You had to be out of this world.
Boom, it's all over.
Yeah.
So remember, and then
People saw him?
yeah, people saw him
Coming
walking
in.
Yeah.
Well, I remember how
And,
it was.
I just go back just a little bit. Remember the coup happened
July 27th.
right?
Yeah.
We was already halfway inside our party time.
Party time, right.
So they take a pause sometime during the thing. So they do a shortened version coming on to the end of August.
Yes.
And it was daytime, so the thing was lifted and things. So and it was already a
Curfew was it was already Sunday was
like 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Gone home.
Sunday.
On a Sunday, Saturday.
Yeah, you recording. I remember that.
And so we things start back. I said, okay, I still have a chance. And boom, I win, and that kind of started the thing. And then going forward, as I say, I started to feel more rap. So in the 19, by the next year, I would tell all this something that nobody would ever know. The first time I end up in a recording studio was Runner. He was doing a remix for not the future depends on you, a remix for something. And he wanted that kind of ragga flavor. At that point in time, I didn't consider myself a rapper.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Man or nothing like that.
Right.
And he called me, and I ended up, where boy, I think it was
fellow?
No, I think it was by, that guy in Mount Lambert there.
Less than Paul, yeah.
I remember the exact thing. So I go on, nervous as hell. I was like 25 takes.
He called you?
He called me after I win.
Yeah.
He called me and he said, you want first 8 bars or something, I think you do it. I said, all right. Well, as I say, still had a little bit of controversy because I never do anything like that before.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Wow. So I write a little thing,
Fantastic.
nervous as shit.
Yeah.
And he had used 2 versions. So my version never ended up on the track.
record.
But oh god, that guy he used to do a kind of rap style, had a wrong face. He was big at a certain point in time, boy. Wish I remember his name.
Rap style? Okay, nah.
Yeah.
Your era?
Around my time, yeah. So I should bring back some of his tracks too.
Oh, vibe?
Nah, before that, boy.
Before that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I will remember you forced me not to go and research it. So yeah, he ended up being on the remix.
Okay.
And but it was the first time I ended up on a studio, and I think that probably started me thinking. I said, okay, well, yeah, as a poet, I do thing in a Trinidad style, Trinidad lingo. I like resistance, I like that whole vibe.
That whole
and
entity.
then I say, but I can do this,
Yeah.
And then I think the first real rap so I signed, I always remember looking back, I remember me signing it Aussie Merrique Rap So 1991, whatever, late 1991. And something called a conscious beat. It's a conscious beat from the heart to the drum and the rhythm gonna tell you come, da 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 boom. Da 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 da. Of course I can remember that.
Well,
Drag the 3 verse, the chorus and thing, go on the resistance and the drag. Because he's
He used to hang out. He had
a store.
He had a store.
Uprising.
Yes.
Culture shop. Yeah.
Culture shop. He used to sell like all
Books
those.
and craft and records.
Yeah.
He had a label, he had publishing companies, things I didn't realize at the time.
That he had all that. Yeah, because I and all too. That I mean, when he passed away, it's only when certain things came out, and it's just from memory. Because
Yeah, in terms of people he produced too. He produced Merchant and a bunch of other kind
I
of
had
stuff.
no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's certain music people would have never been.
You ever did anything?
Never did
with
any
him?
work with them because getting back to that first story.
Right. Good.
So I go on now. I show him the thing. I sing it for him. That time I rusty. I ain't rusty yet because I ain't rusty. I just
You just new to it.
Yeah.
You knew. You're brand new.
You see this way I good or no this way I good. So I tell him I want to drop out of you, and I want to do this creative thing full time. See, hold your horses a little bit, give yourself a little chance and thing. And And, you go talk again, I think, but me, I didn't take him out.
Hey, you still jump out?
I dropped the hell out. And I stay, I'm going to do music.
Yeah.
And some inside of that mix now is when the Kiskidi story started. Yeah, so that's the next junction there.
Since 91?
Remember, Kiskidi, the first Kiskidi was 92, Check it.
Well, General Grant was Shot Call was on Kiskidi album.
92 was the first Shot Call was on the Compromise album.
1992.
93 was the full Caravan.
So
94 Carnival, so we do jump started on that.
So this is that's my year in school. So I'm the 90s.
Shot Call.
I'm the 90s baby in Belmont Intermediate. So we have crews. So every
I see this.
yeah, every carnival, Saturday after carnival, we have the all the old integral teams from the 70s, 80s, 90s come to CIC grounds and they play. So we have our t-shirts and our team. We have the 80s integral team, the 90s integral team.
90. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so the Shot Call was
92.
actually 1992. Yeah, because I came into Port of Spain to live in 1990, 91.
Yeah.
That as a matter of fact, I went
You from country?
Yeah, I came in down after that. I came in down. I spent 1 year in Merrique Composite, 1 year in Rio Claro Junior Sec, and then Port of Spain. So that's 89, 90, 1991.
Right.
And after that would have been 1991.
Yeah.
1991.
Right, so 92
Yeah,
would
so
have been
92 Shot Call there
That's
because
with no compromise, that's with Gauge and them.
yeah.
This you could flow. Sister Run.
That was that. Shoo, that was that, yeah.
That was the album, Kiskidi first real album. It wasn't called Kiskidi.
All of them was on
At
that?
the time. It was 4 songs. Gauge and them did Get to Rance Champion, Round and Round. Kindred. Well, the She Could Flow.
Yeah.
Sister Run come.
Yeah.
Together with Grand and Grand that Shot Call. That was the album. That started the thing.
Wow.
And
How you end up in that whole mix now?
well, let me tell
Well,
you.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, go ahead.
we on the block. Listen, we on the block. Ozzy Merrique is here. Ozzy Merrique has a wealth of history. And let me just say, that first segment there, and it usually, what has happened here, they take the start before the podcast start. So the vibes just start before the podcast because
Nice.
it's so much, and I'm sure there are things in between that you probably
I leave out everything.
because
you know, with the major milestones.
yeah. But sometimes, what happens with the major milestones, there are things that lead up to that major milestone that would really trigger the sense of like, yo, shucks, that man went through that day, or this happened or that happened. Because at the end of the day, you know what it is? I believe that everybody should have the opportunity, especially who are entertainers, should have the opportunity to.
I really appreciate it. It's
Sit
really
down
cool to
and
talk this
vibe.
kind of talk because,
Yeah, let's sit down and vibes. Just
I started to talk about when New York and mash up the place by my own self. But
with where the before the Kiskidi thing?
this is after. This is
Is
when
after
when I was in the desert.
after party time?
No, this is
Or
after.
after Kiskidi? Oh, that.
Fast forward, I'm not going to rewind back to that. Take a skinny.
Like one of you because that.
You give the guy a pause or something?
Pause. You want to pause? You want to pause? You want to?
We're not going live, yeah.
Yeah, we can. We don't usually be on the block.
Well, yeah.
Live it?
Yeah, well.
Nothing. Just getting the shot like for.
Oh, she taping up you.
Like Paul.
Be on that.
As the original Pablo.
Original.
And as the next man was in party time with Ozzy and them back in the days. You understand? So.
Correct, is right.
Yeah, Paul McKell, aka Pablo, aka Mr. Manu.
GTS.
Yeah, GTSB game time is this. Yeah, right, Pablo. So, yeah, but also, so he back in his zone. He back
Inside?
in, yeah, back inside, man. Like I said, that free flow thing. The nice thing about this is you can put it together.
I can put it together, correct.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to remember.
we left off at you now. We're in party time, going to record that with David.
Right.
He called it record, and then he used, there were two versions, and I was trying to remember the dude's name who
So that's how you remember. But
yeah,
uh-huh.
who did that part for him
Right.
on that.
And that's the end up using it for
And
the.
that's the first time he used his studio. That's the first time he went
Yeah.
actually in a studio. Why
In a
not?
studio, yeah.
Why Lester Paul said?
Louisville session. Yeah.
Yeah, by Lester Paul.
I know that's nothing.
I start back here and
Yeah.
yeah, that's alright. That's alright. I mean, listen, this right now is one of the times when things are literally.
Yeah.
I know it'll be probably you want a lot of archive some of your memories with a lot of things.
Yeah.
If you understand. Yeah. Hope this up. No.
No.
You're in the block.
That's all good.
Yeah, and a lot of people I remember talking to get Baron to come on. And I mean, of course, because of Baron's age and thing now, with a lot of things that he won't remember or recall.
Right.
So it's like, and this Shervon is like, coffee. We'd love to do this because this could be something that is.
Sure.
Yeah, this could be something that would be really good. But he don't like to do interviews because he.
Can't recall.
Another thing, and he liked to really reminisce. But it's like.
He can sing.
Yeah.
My favorite. Like that guy.
But certain instances with things back then, I mean, like how we go into depth, because a lot of most of the people, and this is the next thing too. Most of the people that were on here, because of our stuff, and I don't have you can make the pull out the chair. I don't have like specific questions because of the fact that being able to get the raw information. Yeah, because if I know you're supposed to have like official interviews will have like pointers and guidelines and certain questions you'd like to ask and thing, which is good, which is supposed to happen. But sometimes you ask a question that might throw off another tangent. So like for instance, we were coming down the memory lane of the whole party time introduction and all of that there. Had I asked other questions in between, then might have just thrown that whole thing and we might have left out. So just free flow kind of, on the block. We're on the block. We're on the block. So we leaving Lester Paul's studio now.
Right.
And we going now to the aspect of now. I would imagine now you recorded, now you get a taste recorded, a little that taste in your mouth. And I would imagine is David would have called you after part time and get you in the zone and get you in, pull you in the studio.
And I have to plant that seed in terms of the process.
It's very rare. I would say this. It's very rare that people who have icons, because that's part of the program as well coming up, are asking like your favorite, and inspired without even me asking you that you don't put that in our frame already as to exactly who inspired you from into this. And also, it's very rare. What I was going to say is that it's very rare that you'll have somebody of that caliber bringing on somebody who is new to the game,
right,
and giving them that break.
That platform.
Basically,
you see that type of way about it too. Though I feel like I could always think that I should already fix this thing, but I think I fixed it after. So, and he was asking us about more resistance too, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, we were never close. We were bridging, even when we got into the rap soul era that we had.
Well, all that other thing, so I guess we'll go into that now.
But what I realized something with me though is that sometimes I kind of like to prefer to keep my icons at a certain kind of distance, then because I want to keep them
up there and up.
Because I'm a fine art painter as well. That's kind of one of my main things, art. Like even, I think I would have had the opportunity to have gotten close to Leroy Clark as a person. But then I said, okay, this is a person. I don't really want you as a person. You're that star, you stay there. So we always, we're never in anger or war or anything like that. We're just saying that. I think that's just me. I always used to kind of keep that certain kind of distance for whatever reason at the time, and so
preservation, I think it is. Preservation of your image of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And And I remember, and it's probably country life too, because we grew up as TV as being this amazing thing then. I mean, we in Grandy, I still remember days going by the neighbor to watch TV. Or at least color.
Oh, shucks. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Because we grew up like Upper Foster Road and thing and whatever. And and
I heard about those stories.
and there are certain characters, locally even, who you see that person on TV, they have a program and you watch them on TV. And then when I get big now and get into the music and get into the world and as I say, reaching town, I say, but wait now. End up in a casual situation with that person I grew up with on TV.
Yes.
And
yes.
that person
Is that
cussing.
Is that person? That person a human.
I went outside and say, well, oh my God, what's going on? So that's the kind of mark me for life. So
Okay.
So the Rapster thing started in 1991. It might have actually started before that, but somewhere around that time, I used to link. I see, trying to decide what to do with my life. And now I like painting, drawing, acting, writing, performing, all of these things. I say, what to do, boy? And I kind of a little bright too, so probably people thought, well, okay, forget all that shit, just go and be a lawyer. And
go and be a lawyer
that
against the
side.
zone.
And so it's kind of in that kind of turmoil. So that's when I left UWI. But around that time, I don't know if you remember the year where it had something called Youth Fest.
Yes, that was in the Savannah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Youth Fest.
Youth Fest. That used to be an event.
Yeah,
Annual
because
event.
the Express used to produce it at some point. But anyway, Youth Fest come, and around that time, Gatorians, whatever name was calling themselves at the time, Gage, now Black Chariot, had a rap group.
But they don't get Orions?
Yeah, Gage, same Gage.
Yeah.
Barataria, 6th Avenue.
6th Avenue.
A whole bunch of that whole thing.
Yeah.
So Omari and Akinde was Barataria men too, so them was part of that mix. So them come up in that hip hop game too and ting. And then for some reason, I think Omari probably tell the story better that he see, but let me put in a rap so anything. I'm in Youth Fest as a youth man. And
Went to perform or you went to...
No, I went to watch.
watch.
I wasn't singing it. And
That's
but
before.
I'd already decided that Rhapsody is the thing that I want to do. So boom now, Gage and them come up and thing and they rapping, thing, American style, and then boom, Mariana Kelly come in with a rap so verse. Place gone wild. I said, but what the ass is this? I find Omari, me and Omari.
Well, yeah, if you found David Rudder.
Yes. I think it was Omari, it was Mr. Nigel. I say, I meet to a meeting, we think we used to line. So I think, well,
This is before
because we used to line on campus, or we used to line on campus because I used to go back on campus.
But this is saying this is before party time, I think, is it? Or
no, but
after that?
This is after, so it's somewhere between that 1992 period. And
Youth Fest would have been 92, 93, they were around.
no, before that. It might, no. Anyway, we go figure that out.
Yeah.
So I used to meet with Omari, we used to talk about the whole concept and thing, and we were we decided, well, all right. Them already had an idea they wanted to call themselves Sons of Africa. I said, well, all right, I will be part of the group too. So I read that name. So it was Akinde, Omari, and Jali. I was supposed to be Jali.
Who?
Jali, like Jali Man.
Jolly Man, the Jolly Man I come.
Yeah.
Jolly Man.
So we do some rehearsal and thing. I now remember, I didn't leave you here. Because I didn't leave you here. So we ting, we was writing songs together. I never had a verse per se on that track that they did.
Right.
But then I see, here we're going. Sons of Africa, cool. We were just using the word kindred to just kind of...
Kindred. Who said that? You?
Yeah. And... And
okay.
They were using the word kindred. It had that kind of generic kind of flavor, but you had the word dread in it. And it's a brotherhood, so kindred spirits, I say. They say, okay, cool.
As in kindred?
Kindred.
Yeah, but no, yeah, but what kindred means?
Kindred mean collective. Kindred like kindred spirit or kindred friend. We are kindred together. We are kin. But
Kin as in
Family.
family, right?
And then dread being kindred meaning it's an extension of kin. It never had nothing to do with dread. But it happened to say dread. So I say dread,
So the word is
Rastafari,
okay, but
African consciousness.
the word is not so. Okay, all right, good.
Kindred.
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 Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Man
we,
say
so we
kinda bite
decided
it.
to go with that. And boom, no. But then I say, boys, you know, I trying to figure out what to do with this university degree. I trying to finish thing. So I don't make the decision. So I say, I will kind of ease off now. And boom, now. Then end up linking True Gauge and Gatorians with Kiss Kitty was now coming out. So them fast forward, them record this Trinidad Flow. They bust the tune, thing. So I was still kind of in the mix and thing, and by that time I left you. And then somewhere inside of that now, I say, well, you know, I could come with something too. And to be honest, we were still inside of the African consciousness. We still have ways a little bit more cajonas at the time. So we say, all right, who was bubbling at the time? No, let me read. It comes from a certain sensibility of Ifa Orisha spirituality in terms of the balance between male and female. Right? So I thought to myself, I say if I want to do something like that, I want to have that, make sure I facilitate that kind of feminine voice.
Of a balance.
Right, to
Of
create
a
that
balance.
balance
Yeah.
of yin and yang.
Right.
So, and then this group came out.
So this is hold on. So this is before.
This is somewhere after 92.
Right, but this is when. So you tell
Omar,
listen, I gotta take a little
between
rest.
91 and 92.
I gotta take a little breeze out and figure out my scenes.
And then them
and
record
then they
and
recorded and
it's
they remain as kindred.
They remain kindred.
So you coined that name kindred. This is
Yeah.
crazy. This is crazy knowledge.
Used to happen like
This is
that too.
crazy
But I
knowledge.
love still, you know.
Yeah, because
all the time.
at the end of the day, I see you.
But they opened the door for me to come with Homefront.
Well, we going to Homefront
Right,
now.
yeah,
We're going to that. We're going to that pocket of Homefront. So.
That tag team kind of.
So you now decide, all right, to do the thing. They organized, they jump on the Kiss Kitty as it now come out. And I mean, of course, when I speak to Mari, I would love to get a Kindi, but you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, but yeah, so when I speak to them, I know we'll get more of in.
Of course, yeah.
But you in that space, because to me, it is, you know, like I say, it kind of like Eddie telling me the other day, Eddie Charles.
Yeah.
Telling me the other day that he was there in traffic before Steve Seeley.
Right.
You understand? So that blew my mind. So now you telling me
People
what
seeing Steve Silly, just seeing traffic. And
because he asserted himself, you know, that way. But I mean, people who
Tambu
knows.
was in thing before other too.
Who is this?
Tambu was in Roots before other.
Kamu?
Tambu was in Roots
Tambu,
before other.
yeah. So, you know, so like you said, so you were actually part of Kindred.
And I was there.
Yeah, you were there. But, I mean, because of your decision to just... And
I just have a knack for coming up with things.
Yeah.
So,
Clearly you do. I mean, the t-shirt you're wearing, artistic, you
understand?
I'm
So,
sure
I think people trust my judgment in terms of, okay, that's your name? Okay, that's a little too long. At least you can break it down into a nice little thing. So,
what were you doing in UWI before you get back to that? What were you doing in UWI? What was your
boy, I was doing a degree in English Lit. This is before the creative arts faculty really started to kick off. I would have probably preferred to do something along those lines.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we
that's what I thought, yeah. But I was an avid reader, so and I love words and I used to write. I thought I would have been the next from St. Lucia, the next big poet
Sinusha?
from the Caribbean now.
Video?
I would Nightfall, I would have been the next Nightfall, I would have been the next you see, yeah, I'm not drinking water right now. I mean, the man is obvious. He won a Nobel Prize. Come on. Anyways, so I thought I would be the next guy. So even before party time, there's Ralph Mirage used to do a show on
No, your country?
No, I used to do a show called Book Talk as well.
Oh yes, Sunday. That was Sunday.
I remember the day it was Channel 4.
Yeah, it used to be Sundays, I think it was.
And Derek Walcott, right?
Derek Walcott. Sir Derek Walcott.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So I would have been in Oakwood? That's somewhere in between Form 5 and Form 6, whatever. I had a collection of poetry. I never published or anything, it was a collection of poetry. And I hooked up a book talk interview.
With Ramaraj?
Yeah. I was 17, 18 or something, so someone.
Damn, son.
And read my poetry and thing, and he analyzed it, and I think that was fun though.
Yeah.
And so I always thought that would have been the next.
So that was basically a calling.
Yeah, writing and all this kind of
poetry
thing and stuff. So then the Rhapsody thing come in, and
which is an excellent way of putting it across, because the ancestors would have communicated through music and that kind of vibe.
exactly correct. So I thought that was been the thing, and then the UE thing now is like they didn't really have creative arts courses, right? But they used to have not a degree. You couldn't do it as a major or minor, but you could take a couple of courses.
Just to get
Raul Gibbons was now kind of trying to keep the thing in there. So there was this course called, I think it was called Caribbean Imagination, and it was taught by Leroy Clark. They used to put him in to talk there. And the kids now looking to get qualified, they're looking to get A's and shit, yeah. And Leroy would start the class with, I want you to think of yourself behind the zero. So I want you to
why that before this year?
understand the kind of heights the man was on now.
Yeah.
So he had to lie down naked in the room, talking to these 16 and 17-year-olds. Like a lot of them will kind of grow up protected and thing too. It's like, this is basically the question in everybody's mind. Are we getting marks to this?
Oh shucks.
Are we getting credits?
Yeah.
I would go on for like 2 hours and shit, but that was my favorite class. And because you kind of opened up my mind to understand the creative process, yeah, in terms of not just what you do, but where the imagination comes from. So the imagination could manifest in painting, in art, and whatever.
Right.
Go behind the zero.
Gotcha.
Did you get?
Yeah, that's it.
So I did love that class, and I remember the time, same thing I'm telling you about, I don't really like to be friends with my icons and things. We sat down on the step, and he gave me we never used to talk you know, but he probably liked the kind of questions I used to ask him. But the fact that I was actually interested in what he was saying.
Yeah.
See, pull it square and say, just read this seminar. He was writing a column for a paper or some kind of thing to submit the following day. So I'd say, well, okay, I would change this, I would do this, I would do that. I never know if he changed it. I think he just wanted to engage. And then he tried to sell my book.
Wait.
$25, I think was it.
And that was big money at back then time.
I see me a lot of money right now. You see now, whenever. You never know. That kind of guy too.
Yeah.
And the man come and pass it and I still have that $25 from him. Don't forget because
you ain't gonna forget something like that. Exactly. Gonna pretty much. But I mean,
so that's kind of the UE thing in a nutshell.
These guys, you know, I want to get back to that point of after 92 would get into the Kiskidi and again. But this bit of innovation is important because teachers like that actually help you open the mind, as you say. I had a teacher like that. We had a teacher, a human and social biology teacher like that named, he passed away now, what was his soul, which is Albert King.
Right.
Mr. King in Belmont Intermediate. And Mr. King used to come to HSB class, and the first thing the man walked in the class and said, Lord Father, hear this, right? This is serious. He says, and he had a unique way of speaking. My name is Albert King. If you think you know anything, I here long before you.
Right.
And human and social biology deals with sex. So the whole class is,
of course,
like
boys' school.
Whole boys' school.
Bacchanal.
He say I on top car, behind car, under car, in car, wherever the case is. But reality is, and this is the first day we in HSB. You see, reality is, but back then was, but no, his technique or method of teaching probably would not have been accepted if they.
Well, definitely not now.
Well, definitely not now, you know. But he was very at it, and especially because he's dealing with boys.
Yeah.
And you know, boys tend to jump out a lot quicker out of the block.
Yeah.
And he dealt with us straight up, and he said, "Listen, fellas, you see this little rubber thing here, this taking this plastic here? Make this your friend, because I can't tell all you don't.
Right.
I can't tell you don't. I know your mother, know your father, your uncle, your brother. I'm your teacher, and I'm teaching you use this."
This is different.
And rested dog, and he handed out a whole bag in the class. Listen, man, this is the first day of class.
You will end up on a disciplinary tribunal. Right?
But this is what I'm saying. But the thing about it is, what happened was, it was straight to the point. And then we get into things. Before we even get into the body and the anatomy of the body and thing,
You let you know that this is about a human living thing.
and then what will happen to you when you get sick? And then when you start with that now, by the time we get to knowing, I think everybody passed HSB.
He went behind his zero.
Yes, he went behind the zero. So that is putting it in such a in a now me understanding what it did. We knew, and I think everybody in his class, Form 4, Form 5 passed HSB. Everybody, because the way he started was straight to the point. And then we get to understand the functions of the body and the whole line. So I guess what you know, that's what your tutor did, your lecturer did, because your creativity really comes in
a story. Before it's a story, it's a spark. Before it's a story, it could be a song, it could be a note.
It could be something as
I
say, I'm David Oda brother.
Yeah.
There you go.
Understand?
Yeah, so fast forward now after UE, and then, well, alright, I'm inside the zone now, and it's the time when they decide, okay, I think I could do this rap so thing, you know. And I'm in the zone with, I'm going to try a little thing with Kiskidi.
I was exploring a bunch of different things at the time. We didn't like, so still doing painting. I was painting, no, I'm trying to take the painting seriously. So. Always doing like hand painted t-shirts and stuff.
I mean, I have. I sorry, I didn't work with some of your stuff to put on display. I should have really, because like I say, I would love to have favorite pieces. Yo, this man is crazy. This man is crazy. He's a very artistic with his hands, his mind, his imagination. So let's put it like this. That will be transferred through his finger.
Everything,
I saw some of your stuff, and I'm like,
every time I try to shoot on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, every time I pass, I look like, you know, it's like I want to, and I always speak with Andy as well. Andy is very creative, very, very artistic. Yeah, adventure.
Very much.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll get to all of that, but.
I'll send a catalog for you.
Yeah, because I like some of your t-shirts. There was one t-shirt you were wearing one particular Wednesday night that I like literally wanted that t-shirt, and I'm like,
that's the artistic face.
Yes, that you have to
go back to
step back to actually see is a face, you know, but it has very a lot of different contours to it.
Different. The back of it is actually paintings that create the sort of.
So I get to that one. This man is so mad talent, mad talent. People of the world where we are, this man is mad talent, and I'm sure we will get some information where we can get his.
For sure.
His art, his music, his everything. You know what I mean? But we going into Kiskidi now.
So I was had. I mean, I'll be honest. I kind of had the idea before, but I didn't know who was gonna be in it. You think what I mean?
This is a piece of treasure coming here right now, because
so I'd always known Julian Moore because technically Holy Cross and St. Joseph's Convent, St. Joseph's is both brother and sister school. We had no benefit from it because like miles away.
One in
St. Joseph's, so that didn't mean nothing to us.
And now they in Balti, I think.
But I know. Yeah. So, but she was from Arima though. So we used to everybody used to at some point in time end up on that junction by the dial. Holy Cross people, Hillview people, St. Joseph Convent people, like whoever live in Arima.
Eventually, to go home.
So we got kind of close, and I think her mom and my mom were good too.
Oh,
right?
Nice.
In fact, no, actually, I'm lying. Her mom taught my mom in Northeastern College. Yeah, so like that.
That's deep.
So that's my small daughter, right? So thing.
That's deep.
So she had.
So you older than you?
Gillian?
Yeah.
No, she had around the same batch. Her mom still looks amazing. Is a bit older, so she would have been. But then
But she
remember,
taught your
back in,
mom.
yeah, but she would have been like 21. My mom would have been like 15.
Oh, you
So it
mean,
would have been
so
back in
it's
them
then
days,
as young teachers do?
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I'd look at it that way too.
Yeah, cool.
So Gillian and I kind of reconnected when she came back from the States. She was already studying at it. And she was trying to explore creative side, so was I. So one of the things we started to do actually was do t-shirts together. We had a kind of informal company called Piro Designs. Piro, like Piro. And so we used to do t-shirts, go out and sell in those markets and things, and then I was with Michelle, a good voice, and she was into heavy culture and that kind of vibes. So I said, well, yeah, this idea, let me see if we could make something happen, you know. And we got together with Kinky and used to go down and do rehearsals in Montegran, you drum and thing and whatever. So we started to put some songs together without having instrumentals or recording anything. Just drum and bass, writing songs. Right, that's all you need. And
a rhythm and lyrics.
yeah, and we had a couple of songs, and then at some point we went to audition for Kiskini and we got through. And this is one of the inside parts with the song that they picked. We presented them 2 songs.
Which was?
The one when you just give yourself a chance, face it. Gillian actually came to me at night in a rehearsal and said, you're not dreaming this melody. Dream this words and things. So it's certain parts of the words anyway. And just to give yourself a chance, and then I said, oh, that real bad boy. And then I kind of added my flavor to it, and then the verses I kind of took more creative direction in verses. But the melody as a song that still exists, it came from a dream that Gillian had, you know. Another song was a song called Shelter. It's heavy on that tip too, because it was kind of, we knew we were modeling it against the sense that it was about culture and Trinidad and Africanism and
Getting voice out.
and Shango and Orisha and kind of vibes.
Right.
But we also paid a little attention to what's happening in the States with Tennessee.
Personal development.
Yeah.
But that is so. You
That kind of vibe.
yeah. So
Well, structure anyway. So
that's not what reminded me of though.
well, we kind of pushed that in a little bit. Both songs was Trini original thing.
Yeah.
So the next song we had presented to them was a track. I kind of mostly wrote with I know you could taste it, brother. Make sure you don't waste it, sister. I know you could feel it, mama. This is the time to reveal it. Shout out. Hey, take a chance at Chilana. Make a tent and a land at Chilana. Plant a flag by the plant of the mountain. Make a bing into the shout. Shout that the northern range come down. Shout that the spirit run come. Shout that the walls them weed and crumble. Make the world them break and tumble. I know you can face it, brother. Make sure you don't
I mean, had that song that
I know you can feel it, mama. We probably used to borrow a lot of but I can't.
That melody sounds like something recent in my head.
Well, people just I think it's a I'm a track called okay, this is a short interaction. I'm a track called Shagaramas.
Right.
And but
I heard
Shaga. Then I hear Maxia here. I guess it's a Batman tune. As a tune or a Trinidad tune. Shaga. That's it. Okay.
That song, that melody sounds
I don't know.
really familiar to me. It sounds real familiar. I know I will one dig up and I'll actually find the song.
You know, I probably heard some good, a quick aside as well to a time we write music and thing, and I come with this song. I say, God, I used to go back Kinky down with a melody or something.
So Kinky was a musician?
With drum.
Yeah, the
Right
drummer.
now, yeah, he said, you musician.
play
Still
instruments?
is.
You play-
I don't play now. Well, I play now if I producer.
Yeah.
But I don't play.
Play instruments and stuff like that. So just
Paper.
singing and writing.
Yeah. So kick it out up by the rhythms. Like go make it all the time. And sometimes the music, the song will come one day, but I'll come with something like a verse and chorus or like a format or something. And we start them and we build around it, you know. And I started listening to the song. Happy morning. See the song, I'm boy. And then you dance say, hey. And see him another. It's like a boy, I come with these subjects and I'm
I'm going to come see you.
I see it's okay, I don't think we don't record it.
Yeah, they're going to record that.
Yeah, no?
I don't know, for some reason the other will find it wherever you had one melody come out.
That's what I say.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. But
So Jill and I got together and we did the whole front thing.
right, so
At the grand, So we had recorded already at the track done well.
members of Homefront.
Yes.
You
It started off with me and Kinky Dan and Jill.
Jillian,
Then me, Kinky Dan, and then Mark.
Mark.
At the track, yeah. So Atlas now,
What has
I would have met Atlas before. There's just a friend wife, you know, plats and things, used to send bags and all this kind of thing. So I remember meeting him a couple of times and we had a discussion. And he said that he just do a rap song.
You know, I literally just blew away right now, and I probably just wrong because I didn't do my research.
So Atlas used to do bags and things, see, boy, I'm in that style. And so he said, well, okay, then come on, here, and thing. And later I said, well, let me talk to Julian and Pinky and go figure something out, you know. And then
You were always open. You were always open, welcoming guy.
here, well, they're in expensive. Sometimes they might mention it, but that's another story.
Let's go.
So I think even before I even mentioned it to Jillian said that she knows this guy, and because he's someone together with Richard, you know. And so then he must have mentioned it to her husband too, and then I said, well, Vietnam is the same guy. So he came and we started to link and we started to do some writing and things like that and the other. But because we had this one song to sing, so there's a part in Free Yourself where it kind of becomes more chanty. So you take a chant, people are dance like it, but he not chant. So he would come on and basically do that voice. But we couldn't re-record anything else. So he said by the time we were ready to record again, you know, this will be the team. It didn't really record. So that's the next chapter, right? But that's basically where Homefront was at the time.
Wow. So he didn't actually.
He performed as a good crew. Yeah, it was amazing. That was a nice lineup, you know, visually and audio and stuff like that, you know. And
was he part of
amazing things like that too.
Yeah. What was he? So what song was he on? The on Free Yourself?
Yeah, but the other say it wasn't.
It wasn't in the song.
It was recorded, but
it was on the
So
live.
that was the vibe. That was the vibe.
The live aspect of it.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks.
So
This is how.
that was that.
Oh, that's probably why. I don't know why I didn't. Yeah, okay. So he was added to Homefront on the live aspect, but
Yes,
in
we
terms of the,
plan of, because we had no other song to sing at the time, because he was just that one song.
and that was on the and that
That was the video tour.
and that was on Kiskidi.
Kiskidi
That's
Jam,
the second album.
1993. Yeah.
The second album.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, it was 92, 93.
92 was No Compromise, but the first official Kiskidi Jams album came out in 93.
So that's different. I mean, obviously,
And
the Dance Up and the Sun,
and full album. Yeah.
yeah.
So we had For Yourself. Actually had a track called Can't You Take It?
Who wrote the song?
For Yourself?
Yeah, but he
That's
said
just
you.
primarily children wrote the song, she gave me the idea, and then we collaborated on so
Okay.
yeah.
And who did the production of the music?
Shut. He did the whole album.
Kiskini. Oh, so you actually recall, okay, again, I get it, so I get it now.
Right.
But I little slow sometimes.
So to a quick side story, I'm so excited to be in studio. The shock. Everybody has a shock story, but I don't have shock stories. But I remember I see myself, I put it on a cassette or something, and I carried it and listen to it and play it for my mother and my father and things because they really mix yet that. So he say no,
But Mr.
no.
No way.
Say no. I say yeah, well.
Shall Benjamin.
So that time I used to walk around with a little cassette player. Or like a little songwriting aid as well to record myself.
Yeah, I got you.
Right in now.
I got you.
Why that? That's simple. Just press record. And I kind of slide it on the little chair. And say, shut play that again. So,
The break, that's the breathing. That is that.
so I had to look up. Yeah, I'm not paying for nobody, but it was just for me feeling that kind of vibes.
That's because that would have been a second introduction to the
So
studio.
yeah.
So you just like right now,
Yeah.
I mean, the bug hit you when you were the first time in runner,
Yeah,
and now it's the actual chance.
get an actual right. So that's the evolution from there.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
So,
mad. That's mad, man. That's mad, man.
so that's where we were at. So
Yeah.
into the way we was at that point in time. So,
93. You all performed at Youth Fest as well. Was Fest as well?
Youth Fest was before.
Yeah.
We performed one of the places. We performed.
It's
They were like about 10 shows.
Yes.
Maybe a little less than that.
Yeah.
Why I said 10 is because everybody was hiring us all the time. And we wasn't getting nothing close to the kind of work that
Grant and
Daniel Z and Big Rankin and Super Giant was getting, but we was getting something.
But everybody had, only General Grant would have had more songs.
Exactly, yeah. So you used to do a set.
He was like the face of history,
Yeah.
at that point in
I like
time.
one of them.
Yeah, but you all had the song and you all had more of a, and the thing about it, the song that you all had was more of a conscious vibes.
It was. So it was a nice mix of music and
Exactly.
the whole scheme of things. You know, so
Exactly.
you wasn't trying to compete with the badness and the.
I think that's what made you all
Yeah,
stand
coming
out.
down, so-
I think that's what made you all stand out.
Yeah.
And I mean, that would have been the introduction also into the rap soul
Correct.
fertility kind of
Okay,
vibe.
Jordan has already set the pace because the next important, but
And then
important to that as well too is because in '93, Canada, there's a track called No Stop. We had this song with Super Blue. Dance for the one.
And we saw what song?
Everybody, don't stop, left to right. It's
oh,
a sample from Swing.
that,
Left to right, jam for you and for me more.
yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was just one piece of the song.
Oh, that's the
That's in the
sample.
song.
Left to right, and then they go back in the jam. So they had take it to the next level now because the son realized, okay, this thing could run a carnival effect too. You dig? So when we, by the time we Cassidy came around in '93, the so-called media version, we was already primed.
Right.
Country was already primed in terms of, okay, this is a new kind of rap, so we could
Get done?
yeah, exactly.
That's mad. That, I mean, I just picturing. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember what you all looked like back then, in terms of.
That's my favorite pictures.
Yeah, I can't remember what you all look like, but because all then I was still in school. I was on the
Right,
party
right,
circuit
right.
and that kind of thing. But of
Yeah.
course, you all would have been figures in society that was into the entertainment industry. In other words, you all were artists
Yeah.
that were out there, and Kiskidi
was
was.
calling, yeah.
Kiskidi was big. Kiskidi was a big
Picture was
thing.
taken, yeah.
Yeah, Kiskidi was a big thing, and
Huge.
that for us, that would have been around the time. Like I said, that would have been us now going into Form 4.
Wow.
You understand? Form 5. So we already up there. So this would have been my time now going to view party time and thing where other guys would have gone before.
Yeah.
You understand? My seniors would have gone before.
Yeah.
I now starting to go. So although I knew fellas were dancing in party time, I think I went party time for the first time in '92.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think
But
probably ran till about 93, 94.
94, somewhere around there. Because like I say, Hamid was in my year. Hamid dance was Hamid and he had a As a matter of fact, Belmont Intermediate had a lot of
Yeah, they did.
dancers.
Yeah, they did. Belmont on a whole
Yeah.
was like a training ground for party time.
Yes, it was. Again, for everybody on the outside, young, old, around that time, knew, it is important to respect these fellas or entertainers, as I say, because, not often we give our entertainers like I don't like flowers.
Yeah, I think I'm here.
I
That's for sure.
a song.
Kudos books as well.
Yeah,
I
kudos
try to
and-
do that in my projects as well too, to make sure that people
Yeah.
get a kind of, because we did a very nice tribute to Nakariga Mandela down at the
Yes. All that you're to. I mean, there's a lot of things, and every podcast we always have the same, right? Coffee, you have to do a second one because you can't get everything in the
Well, I
first
didn't
one.
say, and you're
And-
scratching yourself.
and that surface is scratching is very valuable. I mean, the information coming from that is super phenomenal. Because the people who
I
are
try
there
to give you these certain things that I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure a lot of people don't
don't know, and I mean, at the end of the day, like I say, I don't know why people give flowers. That I guess it's an American thing.
Yeah.
That's a foreign thing. What we just giving Trinidad a tree. I believe
A street.
a street. Actually, name a street.
Yeah.
We give streets.
We give streets.
It's facts. We
true.
give streets.
Occasionally you might give a stadium or a plane, but yeah.
Yeah, but we give streets. I
Right,
name
no,
streets
yeah,
because
yeah.
you know what happened today? I coming across Queen Street, and then Queen Street is
Not Jana or Wendy.
Penny.
Penny is Penny, right? Wendy is in Diego Martin.
Queen Penny Commission,
Yeah.
right? So I didn't know that.
I just kind of missed that point too as well. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I
That's the
saw that
proper-
today, and I paid attention to the
That's the
street
proper
side.
name of the streets, right?
Yeah, Queen Penny Commission. What I'm saying is I associate flowers, and people give flowers that die.
Yeah.
They don't give you a tree, they don't give you some of the roots to grow and become something.
maybe you had to
and
invent
become
something.
fruitful. No, well,
So you
there's the thing. They give you a tree.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand trees and building and I mean, using wood to make stuff, but of course we have fast forward to today's world, where today's world is
That might be a good idea.
digital.
They might treat it.
Give them a fruit tree,
Yeah.
not just a tree.
Yeah,
Give them
fruit tree.
something that can be able to feed them.
That'd be symbolically as well too. Yeah.
You understand? I prefer give somebody a fruit tree, something that can grow to give you food. So if it's never I don't necessarily about maybe a fruit, it could be a pimento tree, it could be,
But it's what I'm
but it's to
saying,
feed you, because you cannot when you get a bunch of roses and it dies.
You're correct.
It don't survive. Why would I give you something that will die? Why would I give you something that will be everlasting?
I'm just trying to avoid using the phrase as well.
Yeah, giving flowers is. I associate flowers with death,
Yeah.
because after you put
Things like
flowers
that,
on a grave, it's dead.
It's true.
Just like
you.
you gone. You know what I mean? So get back to the story. At the
Yes,
time,
yes.
we at the what book? I don't know what the book is, but we are the spot where Homefront now takes on the face of having article on the live versions, and then we fast forward now to.
You're going fast.
We're going forward to
So 1994,
what Homefront eventually became.
right? So somewhere at the end of '93. So yeah, and Gillian and Mark wasn't part of the team anymore, but Lisa Romani became. I mean, everybody have their own choices to make. You know what I mean? So and at that point in time, I just told myself, well, you have a good thing going, and the show must go on, and enough respect to everybody. So
Was it a bit of the party, or was it a just?
I think it may have been.
Oh, shucks. Hey, listen.
Yeah,
Is the podcast, I
It
mean,
is
because
what it is, yeah.
why?
But the good thing is, I don't think there's any bitterness left.
That's good.
You know, we get old now.
That's good.
Yeah, but I think it was a bit trying because we were young. Not that that's an excuse, but I think all of us are just trying to do the best that we can. And
Who was the pighead?
huh?
Who was the pighead or the hardhead?
I was. No, I was a stickler. I was
You were a perfectionist, I
yeah,
think.
I think.
I
Maybe
think
probably a bit of an asshole as well too.
Well, that comes in the that comes in the territory.
That's
Yeah?
what I'm saying, yeah. So
Because you in your own zone. You see, that's the thing. Having a group is always challenging because I would imagine that other people as well may have been assholes on that party and not at that point as well in their own right, because then the headbutton would reach in terms of decision making and stuff when things
it happens, yeah.
and especially
and then
when
the thing is, it's like limited resources. And it's like some poor kids trying to do something. You dig what I mean? Without necessarily kind of emotional, financial, or any kind of support. Really, we was getting technically a recording facility available to us.
Yeah.
We wasn't really
Or you were
getting.
getting
He wasn't really getting the cream. He was getting little gigs, gig cash and stuff, but he wasn't getting the cream of the support. And let's be real. You dig what I mean? So we kind of had to try to make. We signed to a big label. We on TV, we on radio, and we started trying kind of
make
nitpick.
make
things,
life make life. That would I mean all that in
It
itself.
created a certain kind of stress. But
Of course.
on the brighter thing, so Lisa Romani came in and she came in at the right time. I think the universe, because at that point in time I wasn't really thinking about doing quote unquote carnival music in that strictest sense of the word. You know, but I'm not saying about it now. It's surprise our grandson. I sing Calypso all my
Mr.
life,
Calypso
you know?
himself?
And I think the rap so because Kindred had already proven it the year before. I say, well, I could do something.
Yeah.
And so I get to writing now. And Lisa wasn't really a writer. So I basically had to give her verses to do. And then we came up with 2 tracks, Boom Generation and Roll It.
That was mad.
And they like it, they record it.
Mad.
And I guess the rest is history. Yeah.
That was mad. That was mad. But it's not, I mean, I am right now at the point of, you know, in similar fashion, right? I would have heard other artists or entertainers or even people who did interviews with us, and it's there when it comes to the people who are in charge of. Right, the people who are in charge of the recording or the band
Right.
owner, or you know what was happening to the people who was making them money is that the people who was making the money was making money.
No,
You understand what I'm saying?
true.
They were making people money, and people were not making. The people who were making them money was not making money. That's Abby.
I did anything for you.
I taking out this Abby space right now. Abby, you're getting kicked out today. You know what I'm
Wrap
saying?
up,
No, wrap up. Abby's cool, man. Abby's the sports director, facilitator. Yeah, he's in charge of the sports in the facility in terms of the football and all those things that come. So he's the sporting aspect of things. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So this is a nice facility.
I'm watching it. I know you're
Yes,
talking.
well, listen.
Yeah.
One of the things why I'm up here as well is to be able to encourage. You know, so but getting back to the point of what we're talking about is unfair, and you hear it even in international status as well.
Yeah.
You know that the artists don't really make the money. And then they talk about going independent and the whole 9 yards, you know what I mean? Because the label is the one who making the money and the cases. But Trinidad would have been the situation of, yeah, I get talent and...
Well, I'll jump to that though. Interesting, you know, because it does fit into what you're talking about, right? When we do jump start it, rolling. So this is more on the production, promotional side. When Kiskili do Carnival, Kiskili wasn't doing Carnival to that extent, even though they had recording contracts with Shadow and Ricky Jai and certain other people, I think. When they do Carnival in 94, when he was giving away a car, every concert.
Wow.
You only do like 5 nights then, no?
Yeah,
But
because...
the Kiskili run the Carnival, you only do like 5
5
nights.
nights, yeah. But it was big, it was huge, it was
How
monster.
big it was.
It was monster.
One, he made some power moves that upset the
Soca fraternity?
the promotional fraternity
Right.
for years after that.
Yeah.
You take Roy Cape from Spectacular. But Roy Cape decided to go. Well, that's Roy Cape's side of the story, but he was paying Roy Cape enough for Roy Cape to make that decision.
So Roy Cake was the backing band. He had Spar under contract besides the few Kiskidi people that became part of the Carnival version.
Yeah.
He had I just call it a few. He had Super. He had Sparrow. He had,
Yeah, boy.
and a lot of those people were already intense.
Yeah, they were huge.
Yeah, but he had the T-Fed straight up.
Yeah.
And I'm using smaller numbers just to make a point. If he was making $1 to perform 3 nights a week for 4 weeks in spec, he was making $1,000 to perform one night for 4 weeks by the thing.
Yeah.
He had to get Jackie Jacket. He brought fair price in the carnival.
Gotcha.
Amar.
Gotcha.
After that, in fact, I'll call a number. Man was making 10,000 a night at time. After working for 1,500 for a whole season, or whatever, for a whole week by spec. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
After that, as much as there was a backlash, a severe backlash the following year, it never went back below a certain standard after that.
So you mean he upped the game?
Yeah, he did. In terms of a certain fairness status.
Yeah.
Not a full fairness across the board.
Yeah, well.
But men could have called a price now, at that point in time where they wasn't able to call before. Because he raised the bar. Well, Kiskidi raised the bar. Whatever machinations they're doing, well, they're getting a taste of the backlash now.
Wait, hold on. What is this? Alright, I think I sip of water.
Yeah, I know it in tennis. I had the shut up warning.
Yes, that's
Yeah, the backlash, I will tell this, I will talk this talk straight. Because a lot of people didn't realize what was going on. Including us as young people who don't know. You asked from here in terms of politics of the business.
yeah.
So Kiskidi going back again, they say, all right, we could do 95. In the middle of the season, they scaled down and they started to do more 10 things because I think in a certain type of way, I suspect money was starting to run out. And the backlash was already planned months before because that year, 94, Kiskidi make other entities feel a hurt. And they felt that hurt and they took that hurt.
Big.
So boom now, we had signed a contract stating that we can't perform in no other tent. Yeah? For the season.
At 95.
Yeah, going into 95. I can't remember what song you had for 95. Right? It was just a fog. So you signed a contract stating that. Right? It seems as though other promoters and tent owners and stuff got a copy of the contract. And very early.
Somebody leaked that? The leaking stuff?
They were leaking from the year before.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right. So by 95, they was prepared. That's the first year Spectacular stopped doing tent and started to do concert. Because technically, yeah,
1995.
trust me, I was there in prison. Started to do concert. So they signed half of Kiskidi people to perform in certain shows in the concerts.
Yeah.
Because it's not a tent.
Yeah.
So they can't stop us from getting a gig somewhere else.
They can't.
So as
But
far as we are concerned, we performing by Kiskidi, yes. We certain less exclusivity, Kiskidi 10, but now they having a concert.
Yeah,
Spectacular say they want us in their concert. Watch me, decimate. Weeks before the season thing now, Kiskidi say they're going to close down. And we say, well, no problem, you have 2 concert gigs. Concert gigs get cancelled.
Jesus Christ.
Telling me? You're telling me?
Wow.
Is the first time I think I got a rude awakening. And some people will say nasty, but how dread, how machinations, how Machiavellian the business could be when it becomes like that. Because he was like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. He was like, yeah, we have culture and thing. And when I see that, I said, no, wait. Everybody can eat in my mind.
Yeah.
Everybody can eat.
That's what you all thinking.
Jesus.
That is not what them was thinking, because they thinking we are ahead of you all. Remember, at the end of the day, if what you all would have known, I would imagine, what you all would have known as to what was happening with the backlash, or not the backlash, at the time when Kiskidi did that scenario and got on the tent and signed everybody to the tent,
yeah,
was basically like cut out the throat.
Well, they cut people short, so it was a tit for tat. I know that. But we just ended up getting caught in the middle, I guess. Yeah, what are you going to do?
Which is what does happen in those cases. So the concerts got cancelled as well.
No, our bookings got cancelled
Your bookings from the concerts.
for the concerts.
Shit.
Concert went on because they still had the people. But pretty much all the so-called Kiskili people that they were trying to poach. Contracts got cancelled.
Wow.
Yep.
So people like who was on that?
I can't remember that time it was a fog.
Yeah,
But that time I even started losing already because it was like I didn't come here for this.
Yeah.
So-
so let's talk about the success of well, before this point of Homefront with regards to the other bit of the controversy thing now. And the other bit of the bacchanal
Last
is,
part I got to talk about that.
yeah,
That has to be mentioned.
yeah, you know, and we because this is Kiskili time. This is 95, 94, 93, 94, 95.
When that boy tune come out, 97?
97, right? So I'm a lot of people, you know, again, for want of a better word, not really keen to the fact, or probably don't want to admit that
It was
Big
that.
Truck is
It's worse than that.
it worse.
Yeah.
So okay, so all right, so we
Like,
hear
I
that.
will give you an example of how dread it gets.
So we at this point right now where
That's why I'm willing to talk about it because it's like, you're ridiculous now, man. I was just leaving it alone. I mean,
yeah.
take a borrow, pay back tomorrow. It's part of the culture too.
Yeah.
Problem with that. Oh gosh, give Jackie jacket and think.
And can pay royalties.
Well,
Pay royalties. Pay royalties. Do we have to do? I mean, we are so many years after. This is 30 years after.
yeah.
Right? 30 years, 31 years after the fact. Right? That this is going on. And nobody seems to give a damn, you think?
Well, I didn't give a damn. The person who was supposed to give a damn was probably me, but I didn't really give a damn.
You didn't give a damn then?
I didn't. I'll tell you why too. At that point in time, I think I'd gotten a bit sour with the whole business by the time 97 come around.
So this is where the part is. This is where the part of the thing is.
I was actually, I remember a time,
you
around
were-
that time, I think I went across to Tobago and was teaching for like a year or two. And I think I was in
With
Trinidad,
that
somewhere in
piece?
96 there. Huh?
With that plant peas.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
in kids' minds.
Yeah. Plant peas.
I was walking down Charlotte. True story. Walking down Charlotte. I think so I was living in some little hovel or something. And walking down Charlotte and walking down Charlotte and I bounced off the bass player. Vince.
Well, yeah.
All that time I know everybody, everybody know me.
Yeah,
everybody
because
good.
I listen.
So I said, Vince, what happened? Ting. I said, he asked me, he said, you doing anything for next year? I said, no, but I take a little break from that. And he said, all right, cool. He said, hey, we doing something, you know. We take a little borrow from you, boy. I said, what is that? And he said, yeah, you go hear it. There's a nice tune, but you know that going on that same kind of big truck bumper vibes and vibes. Yeah, it's nice. I said, yeah, well, big up. So that's when I first heard about that. It would have been before, but it was probably still in the studio, right? Then I hear the tune bus. I said, cool. But as I said, that time I was in a zone. Sometimes I was in a zone.
You look
I
off.
wasn't really paying attention to nothing,
Yeah,
and it didn't really affect me no type of way.
Yeah.
To say, well, you know how I fuss about it and stuff. I was like, okay, this happened. Yeah, I was really not biased any or the other.
Right.
And then eventually, I think I was more glad to see, because it wasn't, I have to be honest, it wasn't just that song that was influenced by my song, because Barbados became the bumper capital of the world.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know
Facts.
what I mean?
Facts. That is all up before bumper.
Bumper.
Yeah, but
Bumper. I just
Speedy.
one. You know the people on them. I just remember.
Another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Speedy, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, Trinidad and all went on that bumper thing. And then you had a good bit of Big Truck thing come out too. Star Child just sing it for me.
Says, who come with the roulette?
You come in and roll it, yeah. Ease up on the Big Truck, whatever.
Oh yeah, Isaac was the year after.
Yeah?
Yeah, this was 98.
Yeah, well, look at that. You know the years.
Yeah.
So
98.
I was kind of a little kind of full of myself too now, just as being the person who originated the idea. I wasn't really, because I couldn't pursue, even if I wanted to, I didn't think I'd pursue
Legal aspects of it.
I mean, that's just ridiculous, you know? But at the same time, what kind of bust my throat though, and I'll tell you straight out, it could happen. And I have no ill feeling towards the guy. The time I was, I used to do shows about Trevor's Edge, different things, and yeah, long story.
Right.
But anyway, some night we did, because I used to hang there a lot too, and Trevor's Edge and
It's in St. Augustine.
St. John's Road, Corner St. John's Road, so real cultural spot.
Yes.
In the East, yeah. So I did hanging out, or probably doing some old time Kaiso night or some kind of thing. And boy brother Lyman there, the pilot. So I say, cool, hey, Marcus, where you going, whatever, thing. Marcus is his name, right?
Yeah, Marcus. Yeah.
Alright. Boom now, we talk and thing. And maybe that talk come up. Just casually. Rolling, big truck rolling. He say, yeah. He say, but you getting tired now as the big truck came out before rolling. If you could be in the band itself,
Yeah.
in the culture itself,
Yeah.
and have that kind of disillusionment.
Well, probably was a mistake.
No,
A
he
genuine
defended it down to the end. Shervon let him put him out.
Oh, was that bad?
He defended down to the end.
Jeez.
I leave it alone, but that's it. It's that. No, was no. But even if he made a mistake, he didn't admit it. So, but it's not even about him, though. It's about if you don't talk, nobody else will really know sometimes. Too, you get? And sometimes you just assume that everybody
would know.
And
Take it
they
for
don't.
granted.
And yeah, so that kind of put me in a different kind of zone.
Typical Trinity mentality. What you seen? That is the same thing happened with Benjamin and Watson.
Oh yeah.
Something similar.
Yeah.
But again.
Well, but I mean, people who know.
Yeah,
But true, but most people would not know.
But you
That it was
had.
not,
I think that was literally. Yeah, it was a different melody, but the lyrics were yours. The whole.
And yeah, the entire concept,
Yeah,
the
the
melody and the beat, everything.
Melody.
It was sufficiently different for it to be different,
Yes.
but it was amazingly similar for it to be like, yeah.
Which it was
Even the
what you
breakdown.
call creative.
Yeah.
Start, back, rolling.
You had to get boy you props to him, at the end of the day. You know?
But I mean, him and
Facts is facts.
other people. But the see thing about it is, to get ahead, people do what needs to be done to go forward. While you were in your
I was
space,
in the zone.
in
Trust me.
your space,
Yeah.
you weren't paying attention to what was going on.
I wasn't.
But
And nobody was paying attention to what was
you
going
was
to
going
be.
to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, quite frankly, it's reached a point where people don't care.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it's a wrong concept. It's hell wrong term. I mean, that's wrong, because even up to now, that same entity
Yeah.
of that encapsulate they still do it up to now.
Yeah.
You understand?
I'm glad they call it an entity. So the next thing I just have with people too is that there's it in politics too. It's really a whole cadre of people that
Yeah.
created this one thing that you might see one face, but that face is not responsible for the costume,
Yeah.
the transport,
Yeah, it's a-
the song,
it's
the
a
lights,
combination.
the recording, and
It's a
all that
combination
kind
of
of thing.
person,
It's a corporation.
It's a corporation.
Yeah.
It's an entity. So the thing about it is, you now, in that sense, which is unfair again. And when you talk, hearing stories about Calypsonians from back in the days, it was going on since then.
Oh yeah.
Because you had the biggest tents, the biggest names, and the biggest this and the biggest that. But then your artists still have to go and work either or do something.
Yeah.
They can't do Calypso
In
alone.
that general sense, yes.
Yeah, they can't do Calypso alone. They
But the
still
reason
have
I
to
wasn't
something
so
else. But they-
fussy about it is because I, as a student of the culture and a student of the history of the culture too, is that I don't think copyright was created completely in the understanding of how folk culture works.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it wasn't under that umbrella then?
No, I mean,
Oh, I mean, it wasn't creating.
what I'm saying is that we, as a people, let me say folk people,
Yes.
you sing something, I sing something, we share the melody.
Yes.
There was a sharing going on. When
Yeah.
copyright come as an above thing, they go like, oh, you take that from me, you take that from me. But then the next thing used to happen too is that all these jazz musicians or calypsonians back in the 30s and 40s were sharing melodies.
Sharing
and
melodies right or wrong, yeah.
then a man come and sing, I like that one, I know. What is the name of it? Boy, sing it there for me. Am I recorded? Roman Coca-Cola. Okay. And then record that and put his name on that and become the copyright owner for that.
Well,
When 4 other calypsonians would have sung
that
versions
before.
of that before.
Yes, yes.
So I have a kind of different kind of concept in terms of song teaching and that kind of thing.
So are you saying?
They're sharing.
Are you saying that because, for whatever it would, because of that organization that came in to give you the
Not you're talking about I'm talking about copyright laws in general.
okay.
The concept of copyright,
Yes,
the
yes,
concept of owning a piece of intellectual property
Yes.
is valid. But what I'm saying is that
You achieved that. Well, not even you had that. Other people who did it before you, and you got that.
and maybe I take bumper, the concept of bumper from a Grace Jones tune. Pull up to the bumper, baby. Right.
Right.
I take the question from a
What concepts?
called Sarat. A guy that question.
President Sarat?
Why is it no? There's a guy.
No, Sagat.
Sagat.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Question.
Why is it?
I'm walking down the street. Someone wanna see me and ask me something.
Man,
fuck that. That was a bad tune.
bad tune.
It's a
So
bad tune.
I use these elements of influence to force something.
But then again,
I was saying.
having a concept, nothing is wrong with it. Right? Having a concept, nothing wrong with it. You could have any concept, you could get, borrow, but it's
So it's
a
like
melody.
you could-
So that's why I guess
Right,
it wasn't no
right.
big thing to you, probably. Even in your
In my
Zoom
mind.
space, it was no big thing to you what happened, but the argument of all of that was who was there first.
Well,
That was it. You get it, you don't get the whole song.
well, I would take my trees then, not,
Yeah, take-
not flowers.
Great trees. I get
Yeah, but
trees.
trees, no flowers.
Where's one of the tallest fruit tree, boy?
I have a tall fruit tree in my yard,
Nah, that ain't no fruit.
but it's not fruit.
Yeah, but I mean, trees that can give you something might be a teak or
Yeah, I have a pomerac.
Or pomerac is get real
I have
tall.
a mango.
Yeah, you could feel it. You can't bite up a tree. You might be able to sell it. But the other way, about 10 years or 20 years before
yeah,
that really
yeah.
fully mature to for you to sell. So
Part of it, yeah.
yeah, but just say it immediately. You know what I mean? But seriously, you take the general concept, some of the lyrics and everything. You go on. All right, cool. Then we got a big song. In with due respect, I think it would have been
Maybe
honorable to you.
there might have been a case, or maybe they might have been on.
I think would have been an honorable, honorable situation would have been to come and tell you, listen, here we're going away. I like that, and I have this from the horse's mouth rather than from,
Interesting, yeah, man.
you know, to show respect then.
Well, true, maybe.
But when you come through and ball, hey, my big man, I here first, though. This is my thing, and we bring this out, and we created this, and we now you're out that time and disrespectful, regardless of who you are.
Interestingly enough, though, and I want to close off this section.
Yeah, good.
A little bit.
Yeah. No problem.
I remember I used to do a little rap show on Iowa Station. I mean, almost like you know about it, you know that.
Hey?
It's a whole lot of rap show.
Really?
Yeah.
On I-191?
It was called the Mike Stand. It was on a Monday for 2 hours. Ran for about a couple months. Well, this boy used to DJ from John Boy. Now and then, this guy from South to I think he died Killaby.
Killer.
Yeah.
That's my real mention.
Right, he was a good one.
What you saying?
Quick fast. At that time I'd released a track and nobody cared about it and Killaby here. He said this is the future.
has-
and people were like,
He had that air, boy. Killer B was
they
a
still never play, but
because they were on the station, they were on Iowa station.
yeah.
And again, there's a change of aspect of it too. You know, when Chile,
No, killer me, not chill.
No,
So,
there's
but no chill.
no,
Never
not
chill.
killer, not killer,
Yeah.
not killer. They talk about other fellas now, other DJs, other artists. Oh, sorry. Why I say other DJs and artists together? Like, that's what we don't know. DJs are artists now. But yeah, back in those time, and it was always something of the aspect. So like I said to you, going to the point of when I interviewed you, the Aussie Galvanized, that particular galvanized CD came in the plastic CD case
Right.
with a drawing on the outside of it,
Right.
right? I guess you probably drew that
Yeah.
and then printed it, and
It was an album.
Yes, it was a mini album.
Yeah.
It was a mini album, not a full
Yeah.
16 song or anything. It was about 6 or 7 songs or something like that on the album.
I remember that one.
Right? And me would go home. I would actually go home, and I will go home, and it's only because of the fact that where it's located now, I wasn't able to get to it in time to pull it out.
To pull it out.
But I have it still.
I was actually going through some of my old stuff too, so I can actually
I
play some,
have it
but I
still,
just said we
right?
gotta do part two
And I
at some point.
remember the conversation we had as well, because even after that, people like yourself, right? And don't hold me, any way in a bad way. I'm saying this to say, people like yourself, Morgan Job, he sees, this other guy who would have applied his products himself without going to like a publishing company or these things, was burnt before through these entities, right?
Well, right. I mean,
And
in
you
the
would-
recent past, I mean, Matix, Queasy, all of them had hit the streets at some point.
and went full out, because the hardest thing is you just sit down and record a song and then you pass downtown and on a CD or a cassette and song, right? And then people would have known who are the root of those things. And the people who are the root of those things, the DJs at that time, was making themselves popular,
it wasn't easy.
rather than
wasn't like
bigging up the artists in the sense of what whoever they were playing.
Most likely, artists would have invested
Money,
to make
money,
it
time, your whole life savings and everything to record your songs, and have not got exactly. And from probably sometimes family does be dissipated because of an artist
that's serious.
trying to get to this point of being, reaching to that top of the line cream. And then even as well, like in your case, and other artists in your zone or entertainers in your zone, where Kissily cut all you off and slice all their show down to the zone.
Kissily, no, I wouldn't, no.
Well, I mean, that will happen eventually. That what took place in the storyline, but
but Kissily was a large enterprise that collapsed.
But it collapsed
on top of us. I didn't think I was no bad mind.
Well, it's I don't know what
I was trying to be fair to us, especially when I'm talking now in my more.
But listen, I'm saying this to you.
When I was there, I was like, guns blazing and chain. But then I get to understand that the larger picture. Sometimes the larger
mismanagement,
picture has very little to do with and it's not my place to investigate it, because I'm not working on the level. I remember it at that time, two big artists, radio owners, fighting and battling in terms of promotions and ting. And I was working for one of them, and they say, you had a back thing and you had a support. I say, when millionaires pelting bag of money and trying to hit each other with $1 million, what do I have to do with that?
Well, I mean, in the aspect of what them fellas would think is, I had to get some of that.
Yeah, but nobody trickle down. I've never.
Well, you
does work for certain people, but I've never seen.
Well, I guess that's
trickle down. But then I wasn't even in that position to broke anyway.
But then again,
you know what I mean?
You were not in that space when you realized what was going on. Because I remember there was a point in time that you were very angry. Well, so to speak, in that sense.
Understood, but I think
because of the same very same industry.
I was always angered at ignorance, because it's like people don't really want to just watch the thing for what it is, and make a
a collective decision.
Yeah, well, and sometimes too sometimes it would probably, I think, what used to come across as a certain kind of angst or anger is the fact that if I see it, I think as the best way to say it is that the sky is blue, sky is blue. You know what I mean? And somebody keep telling it green, or it red, or it thing, and I say, no, the sky is blue, and after a while, you start to raise your voice now.
Yeah, because you're not even, I see the sky blue, you tell me it's red. It's blue.
Yeah, but now I just say, okay.
Wow.
You understand?
That's crazy. But I mean, so we coming on the road and I
I
love
was telling you this story about borrow and respect. And as I said, I want this to be the end.
Right.
At that section. I remember a time I was working my hour. I think, no, I don't think I was working my hour. Just being around the world now, the soccer world and stuff. He said, Ozzy, that tune you do last year, I take a borrow, you know. I can't remember up to now I still can't remember what tune he took it. No, I know what tune I did.
Yeah.
I can't remember what tune he borrowed to make. Because he do it so subtle. I was what you call a deep borrow, generally. So he go down and he hear a snare. And then he go hear a certain, like, say for instance, if I go, we got to start back, da da, you only hear the ta-ta part. And then he take that ta-ta, da 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 ta-ta. So he take that little piece, but he was conscious about it.
Yeah.
He wasn't accidental with him. He used to say, okay, I'm taking that piece, I'll take that piece. And take elements from different hit songs from the recent past.
Yeah.
And put it together. But he
You come and
he come and tell me that shit. Let me say thing. I say, I think I say, well, I'll give you something too. I say, people might doubt it and I might doubt myself too. It's at a time where everybody's expected to come and sing only their new song. So if I know you say I would drop a track in 97, 98, and in one performance, generally he'd come and sing that one song for that year.
Right.
Because you have 5 minutes on stage, so you milk that one song for that year because you're trying to win a prize, you're trying to win something. And see,
The ultimate hustle.
I pull Iowa Square time. He might remember, but I do remember. I say if you have 5 minutes on stage and you have 20 years of hits, you could do 5 songs, 1 minute each.
What? Oh, you told him that?
Yes,
What are you doing now?
correct. Anyways, I've been a little props. He might doubt it, other people might doubt it, but there's a certain memories that stick in your mind.
Yeah.
And I say, why it is you don't perform songs, perform minutes. And in your minutes, you can do what you want. You can sing one verse
Property.
one
Was a
thing.
yeah, that's a minute.
And after that, I will ask him and say, you remember that? He probably doubted, but I remember that very clearly.
Oh jeez.
You dig
Well,
it?
that's his performance on his DJ Iowa.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, that's
But
his
before that,
but
I remember was like a one song kind of vibe. I just tune you go by close.
yeah. Singing one big tune for the
go by Ryan's
but
launch.
sometimes what happens is that what they want, eh?
But
That's what they
I
want.
tell them from jump now, especially now too. I say how much. I want you to sing 2 songs. I say no. You hired me for time, not for a song.
Yeah. But that's what they want. That's what promoters and that. Okay, for instance, you go to
Yeah, but you're supposed to be able to use your catalog to push your own brand as well too.
yeah, and again, some people are strong with that, and some people are.
That's why I should probably still be outside because I tell Swappy that at that time too. The year after he had Bucket, I see Swappy on a stage. Swappy perform about 8 minutes in new music, and I do Bucket. I said, dude,
90% of the time people don't know music as good. Eh?
this is what I'm saying, but you have Bucket.
Yeah, bucket
You
and
had Bucket from the year before.
girl them and thing. This
You want a little piece, let them feel it and do your new tune. You have 5 minutes on stage. Nobody cares for you to sing a 3-minute tune again. That's like
Bubble and-
1975. You know?
Bubble and a DJ or that kind of thing.
Anyway, so
Yeah, that's-
so let me move on.
Yep. Moving on. We're into the zone now of coming out here. It is the podcast. And we are on the block. Aussie Merrique is my guest today. He's fed us with some valuable information, and this podcast, like I say, is I anticipated it to be one of the podcasts that will be very filled with information. Very filled with information. But we coming on now, so we had to skim through one.
You got skim. You
We
got
should skim
through.
through.
That was the main part that people know me at,
Yeah,
and I think know me as, and I think a good read. I think I made a conscious and not so conscious decision to kind of go back into the world because I couldn't live on my
out?
brand.
Were you out for a while?
Not really, no, but I did make a couple of trips, and one of the trips was kind of open up my eyes to the idea that nobody cares in that sense. Because I was up there for a couple of months, and I used to leave where I was staying in Brooklyn or Queens at the time, go down in Manhattan and go to all the little open mics.
I met you in Brooklyn. Shucks.
Which year was that? 94. The second time I went out.
94?
No,
No.
94. Would have been when I was up there around the time when Bush was elected the second time.
96? No. 2000, my first time in New York was 1992.
Nah, I went up in 94.
But I've been there every year after that till.
Well, then probably 94.
No, sorry, 2002.
That's the year I was there.
2002.
That's yeah.
That year when I got there for the first time, I saw Clive Bradley.
Yeah.
I saw, and it broke my heart that year though. I remember it, I'm talking about it now, it broke my heart to see Bradley begging for $5 in a corner in Brooklyn. It caught me by surprise, but he went up to arrange for the panorama. Yeah, I mean, people would have known.
Pain
Some
and,
people would
pain
have
and
known
millions is good together sometimes.
Pain and Millions.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, so I think I met you up there that year as
It
well.
probably was because but I wasn't really around in that time. I wasn't really around the Caribbean.
No,
That's
you
correct.
weren't. You know, I met you with. Do you know Chippy?
No boy.
I met you in Chippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were out in Brooklyn that year.
Really?
It was an odd spot. Was it at Vanderbilt or something? We met in a little hole in a spot. That was
Because you used to be taking me around to all these little events.
it was one of those spots with live
Yeah.
gigs at night and that kind of thing. And
So I used
met
to
you.
leave and go down Manhattan and end up in all these little spots. So it's one called the Brewery Poetry Club. The most famous one was Nuyorican Cafe,
Okay.
Poets Cafe.
Okay.
So you used to have a look.
I met in Brooklyn.
So I go on Nuyorican now at night. Nobody know me, I don't know nobody. So they're gonna quote unquote slam, but they open it for rappers and whatever. So I go on up now.
Rappers and
I go on and I do a 2 verse and chorus. And boy, I think I was the only person in the first round get one vow. And it put me in a different mind space that they don't know who I am. They don't know where I'm from.
But they like your material.
But so it kind of gave me back the impetus to get back into the vibe at that point in time. So at that point in time, I was like, yeah, you want a part of this.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So you were out for a little bit.
But I was actually releasing stuff, quote unquote, to radio. And there wasn't paying attention. I guess story.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I had some other make a trainer, but anyway, at time I had a track. You see me nice CD cover and ting production tight. A track called Honey Below. And so whoa, you know you got the honey below. That's why I gonna take it slow. You know you're from head to toe. Open the door and let the sweetness flow, girl. Whoa, you know you got the honey below. That's why I gonna take it slow. You know I go from head to toe. Open the door. You make the blood in my heart start pumping. Walla walla dumpling. Tell your brother something. I couldn't
Sound like a bad chat.
press my fucking CD and thing. Go on. Meet up 2 DJs at the time. I'll call his name, Jason. He was on radio, at some radio at the point in time.
In Trinidad?
In Trinidad by Pi.
Who Jason? Williams?
Yes, whoever.
JW?
Yes, straight up. I tell him straight up. Because I'll call him because he wouldn't mind. He like them kind of back and that thing. So I played for them. Ting. I feel like did I play for them or did I just hear the name? No, I played for them.
I look into thing and thing. But it wasn't he that said, there was another guy there. I remember his name. He said, nah, this you know, this song I like Bowman. Doesn't it deserve Bowman, man no Bowman, Batman no Bowman thing. He said this sound like a bow catch, you know.
It's
And our fan base wouldn't appreciate that. Honey below. I never thought of it like that. I just thought I was skill. Them went so fast to say, oh, you talking about cunnilingus?
madness.
And our fan base, our demographic would not feel it. That threw me off. I think I was depressed for like 6 months after that.
Oh shit.
Well, no, I wasn't, but still. That's probably when I got into my anger zone. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do anything about that. And then I think that's when I started to do these self-produced, or not even self-produced albums. We had cut the tracks, burn them, do the artwork,
you
put 10 in my bag, go down on the avenue,
Yes.
whatever.
That was that
people
point.
already know, I was doing this thing that big tune, I didn't give
Yeah,
a shit.
that
Because
was
when
that point.
all is said and done, and it used to be the funniest thing about it though, because that time it was like, oh, yeah, one hit wonder type of situation. It's like, what are you doing these days? Thing, I write a hit for you. I said, well, what I'm doing these days? I have this CD here. $20.
Got a bag.
I used to,
With a little aside
I
bag.
used to end all small talk. I say, oh, you're a fan? Oh, shit, yeah, it's a big fan of yours, but a big supporter. I say, well, okay, well, you can support now.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to end the talk.
Listen, right?
Most of the time.
Let me give you a short story now. Shadow, 2004, I think it was. Either 2004.
Yeah.
Shervon just a one road match. So
One
one
band
of
coming or the other?
yeah, band coming.
Yeah.
As the first time we won road match. And we went to Tobago. And Shadow now, we ended up by Shadow. Because 105 put on a whole show truck. Bacchanal and Tobago celebration, Tobago
Right.
Boy road match. You know, there's a big thing. The last one was Shadow in 74 in Basement.
Tobago went off the.
Road match.
Right, okay, I got you.
I think that was the last time at Tobago they won a road match. If I'm not mistaken,
Well, technically, Rose is a half of Tobago. Yeah.
Rose, 73, 78, sorry.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so, but since then, to now, to that time, to that 2004, there was nobody from Tobago to win road match and make it
We had in 2001.
Shervon, look the
Oh, sure, we not win, right? Okay.
Sure.
With Tobago and one.
Yeah, Shervon Tobago there. So it was a big celebration. We had 40-foot tree line Tobago, Bacchanal, real Bacchanal. So anyhow, foreign, we ended up by Shadow. Shadow told me it was very interesting because we were linemen down by Golden Star. And we were linemen by Golden Star after the whole thing culminated by Golden Star. Golden Star, a lot of people, it was very vibes. It was thing we live broadcast. I still had that picture. It was Shami Sal and myself, the OB team out in Tobago. But anyway, ended up by Shadow. And you know, I am used to artists, you know, giving me CDs,
Right.
albums, or the songs, and whatever the case is.
Right, obviously.
Yeah, so conversation going and you know, can't remember who else was there, but there was a couple of us. Not many because Shadow was a very funny guy. You want anybody in this place, in a space and that kind of thing. You know,
Still very fun to get a story with them.
right? You don't want anybody in his zone as people he connects with, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
And this is 2004.
Yeah.
And because of through his manager was a sister, her sister worked at TBC at the time, right? Shadow's manager, sister worked at TBC at the time, and we linked.
Lisa?
Yeah. Right, so Laura and Lisa.
Lisa passed away right there.
Oh, shucks, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so
She was from South.
Shadow, yeah, from Savaria,
No, more like
Southern side.
More like closer to Lucio side.
They were deep south.
Deep South.
Yeah, they were deep south. Yeah. So anyway, Shadow now said to me, he had this, I can't remember what album was that, but I think that was the album
2004.
2004. Yeah, because he had Stranger. He won road match with Stranger in 2001.
So far, okay.
Yeah, and he had Horn, right? That's it. I tell people, I think Shadow won Soca Monaco and road match that year, but
I don't
that is
remember years
still.
at all, but if it's 2004.
Yeah, 2001.
Was the tune was the Sing Boy Sing tune? Sing Boy Sing.
I think it was an album, and I think I had one Cookie on the album, I think,
Yeah.
as well, right? So anyhow, no, this wasn't the current album. This was an album that was before, right? Shadow says, to bring a point of what you were doing. Shadow says, whoever else was there, right? Shadow came and he gave me an album. He say,
A CD?
I just go in the bush and spend a week or two and write my tunes. Right? And I just work hard and I just go and give me the story. That's how I know the story of when they burned down the studio in South that I used to go by some people in South. See, because that studio would have been able to have an entire band in it.
Right,
And many studios at the time could have housed an entire band in it.
I know.
Because you would have going to it's a studio in Avocado somewhere down
I
that side.
I know that.
Yeah, listen now, man.
Gotta stuck down.
and he's saying to me, he's telling us, you know what? I think the group of us, he gave me the CD. I think the CD was for 200 or something like that. He charged everybody else.
I give it to you.
He gave me. And everybody else, gotta give $200 for the CD.
Shadow's vibes. Still. Even though you're dead, still vibes.
Right? So I feeling bad now, in a sense, but also feel honored.
Because I'm
Because,
swinging back to the Leroy Clark too.
With the book.
With the book.
Because as you say now, just like with yourself, you got down to the point of saying, although Shadow have had a CD like Crosby's and whoever the case is, and had those entities to push out music before. With you and your music, and that's how I got your CD on the
I did
radio.
maybe as much as 5 during that period.
Yeah.
I had an album called Dog Yampi. Yeah, that one. Another album called
But you have an album now, not so?
Now?
Did you have some songs? You were singing some songs? Because I want to
Songs from the other albums I've been doing. Them songs I've been singing.
that was
It's from an album called Dog Yampi. That was about maybe 6 years ago, and before that,
before COVID.
yeah, before COVID, and before that, I had an album called Microscopia, and in between, I had about 3 other albums. Yeah.
Yes, and like I said, that would have been 2000. Was it 2000?
When was he last SE?
2010.
Wasn't that? Was that?
I think it was 2010. Somewhere around that side because
Around that time, I was doing.
you were there for as long as I know you.
I had my little green bag.
Yes.
And then the SOE hit, and then I was like, jeez, and ages.
Yes.
Okay,
And that SOE, that's when, as soon as Kamala was in
And
power.
pictures with all kind of people buying the CD and thing. I tell myself that, make up my mind that, okay, I'm going to go more hard at this.
Right, so we're back in the zone here. It's all about on the block. And
On the block.
I had to get him sign and everything just now. And I still sign and thing. And then the painting and
Yeah, you got to sing up.
and I still something, you know. But what would be nice is to be able to have some of your stuff that I can be able to have in the cut, so you can be able to.
Oh, you mean even when you're doing other interviews and stuff? Yeah, we go like that. Yeah. No, we
Because
have
you
real talk to talk because this spot, by the way, people, this spot is a really good spot. And it's called Sips.
Sideline sips.
Sideline Sips.
Sideline sips. Wow.
Yeah, right around the corner there. It's
I'm hoping
cool.
to give hoping to have a visual, do a pan of the place, like a video of the place itself. So I can be able to slip in between.
Nice. Because it's kind of different venues and stuff because as much as I'm doing this event down at Ray's, the bands,
Germany Junction. Let's get to that now. That Germany Junction, you know, I mean, you would have been doing other stuff before, as you said.
Yeah.
But Germany Junction is a
right place, right time.
I have
For sure.
This started last
Right
year.
place. Yeah, last year, August. Yeah.
Since August last year.
Trust me, yeah.
I was out of the country from June to October.
Right. Now you
When
started
I came
August,
back, I was introduced to Germany Junction by my partner Matthew. He said, hey boy, and Nigel.
Wasn't Maggie? No, right.
Nah, was Matthew and Nigel.
Yeah, the cook.
Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
No, not the cook. Nigel.
Oh, DJ Nigel.
DJ Nigel. Because I didn't know Nigel went down there because I didn't know he had left where he was. But I didn't know he was there. And then Blind match him, I just say, boy, because he said, boy, Wednesday night will be nice by Rise. I was like, Rise?
Raise.
Rise. Where's this? He said, Boulevard. I said, well, you know, long way I want to be any Boulevard. So just to know that, but at that particular spot, Maggie, that spot was
Pablo had a
Paul had a spot there, and even before Paul, before Paul, there was another spot there that we used to be.
Earth.
No, Earth is next door. There was Minglers.
Right.
There were Minglers, and we used to play by Minglers. Maggie really was the house DJ there, and I would have passed through once or twice with Nadine, and that was like some years ago. But I'm familiar with this spot, but I have not lime on the. I don't really lime on Guinness per se.
Well, how do you think started me? Actually, no. I think
How this whole thing started?
well, you know, I have these books that I have about poetry and short stories and comedy and things like that. So I think I solely own a book, Atkins and Atkins, a long time. And we were sitting down there, and he didn't even take out the place yet. We just happened to meet there.
Oh, shucks.
And a couple months after, or maybe a year after, he got the spot. And then he called me and he said, "Ozzy, you want to do something?" I said, "Yes." Because, you know, sometimes you're ready now. He called me at the moment where I knew I didn't have to doubt. He said, "All right." I said, thinking poetry and rap so and thing. I said, "Yes." No, say less. And so I said, he said, "Well, okay, well, you have a course." I said, "Well, when you're ready to start?" He said, "Well, when you're ready," I said, "We start next week." No, because as I say, he called me when I'm in that
I guess the
universe line everything up, and boom, we started, and we had there's like the quick highlights of season 1 would have been Ruben Dury Ronch's book perform. We had some poets like Darren. And
So what started off?
it started off as a platform, because if I give you the list of what was on the first flyer, it's Rapso, Kaiso, local, craft, art, poetry, music. So in other words, film. So I think we had the vision that it would become a spotlight for local creativity,
Right.
and not necessarily of the festival zone.
Yes.
Right? But the first manifestation of it was mostly people who had like books to sell. So we had the books on sale, give a pop-up shop, and then they'd come and perform. So Darren Sandy, well-known poet, Idris Salim came, and a bunch of other people. And then we just say we ended off season 1 with a performance around Christmas time with Sheldon Blackman and Rem Bongshan.
I was there for that.
Right.
I was there for
And
that.
then we paused for a little while, and then the carnival season just take a life of its own.
Yeah,
So
Remy
we
had
had-
a good.
Right.
Remy is
Right, and it was right around the same time you had posted the karaoke thing with the rolling, me singing Jump Started in the car.
Yeah.
So everything just come together.
Yeah, Remy is special. He's very talented, and I mean, I guess he got from good cloth too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, would
Yeah, he's all
Myron,
he and all the brothers.
He's
Like,
a Myron.
Myron the mom.
Swanky Pops, boy, I miss him.
Yeah.
He was a good one.
Yeah.
Swanky Pops.
But you so that whole concept, but you had that down on paper already. Was
No,
just
I had happened to have the fortunate life that I've done this in some form or fashion like 5 times before, without anybody seeing it.
How does that feel?
It feels good now. I don't feel no type of way. No.
Yeah.
Because as I say, it's the same thing. You have to keep repeating that word. When the universe is ready, it's ready. And you don't know how long it's going to last, and you don't know when it's going to happen. And you have to tell yourself that you are fortunate, just like you are, to be prepared. Okay, if they say some big sponsor come and say, "Hey, let me do on the block as a TV show, and we go syndicate it and put it on Netflix. You ready?" He last 20 years. You know what I mean? So
And the
same thing with me with that.
And the universe ready.
Yeah, so it happens in a time like that. So this carnival now, it evolved into a situation where we have a lot of younger artists looking for a break.
I
And
think
we pay tribute to a lot of the older artists as well.
you said evolve, I said morphed.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a much
Yeah,
more intriguing kind of
it's true,
feeling.
it's true, it's true. That's
It
the vibe.
morphed.
It
It
morphed.
I was like,
It took on a life of its own.
are you serious?
On a life of
I
its
was like,
own.
what the? Because I was, like I said, I was there for that show. That performance itself was like,
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
I was like, so wait.
Remy had a good time.
Yeah,
everybody.
Remy,
And
Kimi,
people, no, and I remember something what that night now that we're talking about it though, is that there were some people upstairs having a bloody line and they started to cuss and say, what kind of shit when I say DJ playing? Because normally I just program
Yes,
local rap
DJs
vibes
playing
and things.
before that,
So I just-
yeah.
I was playing, I wasn't DJing.
Was playing?
Yeah, I was just
Running tracks.
running
Running
a
some
mix.
tracks. Yeah.
Like galvanized mix.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
of course they got a thing like Andrew Tanker
Yes.
and all kind of quote unquote weird music now.
No, where
So I went up and talked to them and I say, hey,
Wait, man.
thing, I apologize and thing, happy birthday to whoever and thing, you know. And after that we go play some we might play some, you know,
Little they didn't know.
wine up on it. Next thing you know, them downstairs whining low.
I remember that. Front and center. Front and center. I remember that.
So I say just had a trusty process. I'm sorry.
That was a crazy vibe because I mean to say it was, and again, every product is as good as its name. Jam on the Junction was like, damn,
Yeah, boy.
how?
You
But
know where
then
this from, right?
Getting your vibes, well, tell me, because getting your vibes, as you say, you have a knack for getting stuff.
Yeah, but that wasn't original though. It's a song about a track called Crucial Decision.
Yes,
Where
of
the
course.
chorus is Jam in the Junction. Man, you're so Jam in the Junction. I thought it's one of my favorite songs from him. And then I said,
You performed that. You performed that night. Who's somebody that distributor resistance?
Omari sang it.
Oh, it was Omari.
Yeah, Omari sang it.
Yeah.
And big up Omari and the Venture, Manisa Pantin.
Who's it? Yeah, I know what
And
that's team.
Cheryl Batiste. And supporters like Soulfire and, you know, people who always there
I
to
remember.
make the thing happen. Atkins, of course, the owner,
Yeah,
Nigel.
yeah. I
Corey,
remember.
Nigel, the cook.
I remember the night you all did
Super, no?
Kiss Kitty.
Oh, that was mad.
I like General Grant King. Freetown was there.
Yeah, Mohammed was there.
Woman.
Taking
was there.
footage and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but we were in the same space.
Oh, yeah, that was hanging on the other side, right?
Yes,
right.
we were in the same space there. He was there, he was taking in the show performances now. And I'm hearing him saying, yo, I want to get involved in this somehow. And again, he talking to himself and not talking to us. Yeah, he like, because again, and this is like some important reason, because it's like, you've been at it for plenty years.
Yeah.
I would know your total intricacies of.
Yeah, you must also have a portion any minute where you go find the next time to do that.
We have another time. We had to come back and do this, you know. But I know the time when you were on promoting yourself, promoting your music, promoting your craft, and you have never stopped. If there's one thing I admire you for, is that you have never stopped. Because even on the night of the shows, I was there the afternoon they came and laid out the entire table with
the art and
the books and
stuff,
everything like that, and you had your thing, you know, your people there, and I am like, yo, if people really, really latch onto this, they will.
They will. Once you are able to continue to make it, sometimes we are so close to the edge that the time.
I think you walk on the edge and break it off.
Right through.
You know when they used to walk inside you know when they walk inside that river. And the edges breaking off on there.
Yeah.
While you're walking and you slide down and you come
you
back.
miss time. You walk on the beach and the tide come in and
It feels like that all the time.
But I just feel it too. But the thing about it is that sometimes I just kind of phrase that, I'll be real, that being homeless has different gradations. So you could be homeless, you think, okay, it's a vagrant on the street, right?
Man.
But you could be living in a little shack in the backyard of some family house.
Yeah.
That's a version of discomfort and inability to make a plan in life.
Right.
Yeah? So I'm thankful that I'm not ducking landlords now, and that probably give me one edge above
Hey, I mean, we may have.
precariousness that I could say, well, season 2 will happen. Regardless of what it will happen. You know, I wouldn't have to say, oh shit, but you know.
But you
can't finish
ran
this.
through some of the weeks.
Yeah.
So it's Wednesday nights. You go back and you say it's what?
Go back in the same spot. We started back on the so far we're supposed to start back on the 30th. After that's the Wednesday after
April?
the election. Yeah, yeah.
30th of April.
And we go run
And
like
that's
another 8 to 10 week season and then take a 2-week break
the
after.
pre-Andy Boulevard. So right now he's on the break. That's how I end up getting him today, Wednesday, all now. So
So they all know I put my head
Don't
up.
get it. Yeah, you don't.
You're right, you're
Because
right.
it's a simple production to the eyes, but it's a massive production for him to handle. And what I love is the fact about it that your dedication to this is immense. Your and the people who are around you, I guess you have probably cut out all the frills or the
No
excess. Cut out all the
No
excess.
friends. Everybody just come there and had to take off the mask because it just happens to be. It's like this. It's like a spot where you have to either be yourself or just don't come.
Don't come, yes.
You got me not lead with stars there. So we had KMC. But KMC.
That's 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but KMC. Aye, but KMC is ground.
I started
So he know what time it is, and I was glad that we had the opportunity to make sure that he had the appreciated.
He
crowd.
was supposed to come on
stuff.
the podcast that week, that day.
The Wednesday? You see?
And well, he was supposed to come on Friday. But I wanted to meet with him the night because KMC is a different type of nut to unwind.
Well, dealing with any kind of artist, because Johnny King is a different kind of nut too. I had to deal with all of them, but
Yes,
as I say, thank God, I'm prepared.
Yeah, I want
And I try to deal with everybody with love and respect.
And that's it. In fairness, man, just say to me, Coffee, he doing some stuff now, and he wanna deal with that, and coming probably closer to the summertime, August holidays, whatever it is.
Yeah, I check him since inside of the carnival. He said,
Yeah.
this is the season.
And you have to respect people
Come on,
who
Ozzy.
know.
I said that.
You have to respect people who know what they're about.
Yeah.
A lot of people run around here and they don't know what they're about.
Yeah.
They just, okay, I perform in a hustle mentality.
Yeah.
Right? The same thing with Iowa and thing. Iowa is the ultimate hustler, but now Iowa's taking a little back seat. He's doing his thing. Eventually, he will be on the show. Because I've reached out to people, especially those. Now, a lot of people say, giving me ideas as like, or giving me, what do you call
Talk to
it?
this one, talk to that.
Yeah, how I
Suggestions.
should suggestions as to how I should program this,
Yeah.
how I should run this, and advice is good. Advice is what I was looking
Yeah,
for.
alright.
But here, this pit here has a particular way.
And this connection to you,
That
because
is-
you know,
How I want to have this.
you will listen.
Yeah, I will listen. I
And
will
to
not-
know when is a good
yeah.
timing and everything.
I want to
Same
be
thing
able
as
to
we
do
going
this.
through for the Wednesday night too.
Yeah, this is this speaking to me now. I listening to my inner self. I'm taking the advice,
Yeah.
but another thing, because people don't have good ideas and stuff, but I don't want to be able to have somebody else direct this play or direct this, because this is coming from me.
Yeah.
Me being in radio if I was on air consistently, would have been 30 years and 2 years. Will be 30 years and 2 years.
Right.
But in the media.
Yeah.
Started 1996, 97.
You see it.
Yeah, as a 19-year-old. So I was like, at that time, the youngest person on radio in Trinidad and Tobago. But I've always given in from family to children to this one to that one to promoters to whoever it is, and I have a problem where I don't have control of my narrative, and this gives me the ultimate,
Right.
the ultimate.
I get
Listen,
you.
I want to be on the block.
And it's not just Yeah,
because truly told,
Achieving the
and while achieving the best, and I look at a lot of podcasts from all over the world and I see everything that happens, the only difference is, again, as I say, just last night I was saying to I can't remember who it was. Yes, I want to have everything in play. I want to have the nice studio or whatever it is, but I really don't want to make it.
You don't want to kill the magic. That's exactly what I was trying to do on our Wednesday.
Yeah,
So
the authenticity of it is important.
So here it is, you talking about that. So, as I say, season 3 supposed to start the 30th.
Yeah.
I know you are the grand handle, you've seen how the grand handle since.
Yes.
Right? So, we're talking on the block. So, the concept behind the 30th, behind this next season, is coast to corner, from the coast to the corner. So
Interesting.
So who knows? It might do a showing wire.
Hey.
And even the universe
deal
open
with
to that. Because even this year's talking about Mohammed from Freetown, and he and all say we have to spread it. So I'm gonna give him a call very soon and say, "You serious?" Or,
Yeah.
But as it stands now, we're doing the Wednesday nights from the 30th, and the theme. One of the aspects of it is that every Wednesday we kind of not necessarily having these artists because some of them not around anymore, but we picking a calypso and a song to create the vibration, and then from there we could show a film. From there we could have a poet.
Facts.
From there we could have a feature of an artist. But the point is that it starts from the point where how I just create the thing is that let me see on June 11th, it starts with Ella bring down the power. Then I'm looking for women, I'm looking for Sister Abba to come. So that's the concept.
Listen, right? I mean, we probably, you more so than I am, but we probably on the level of really bringing out or reliving or bringing back the culture into that main fray, the foundation culture part of it. Because at the end of the day, where you come from and you've been at it forever and a day, right? Forever and a day.
Yeah.
People like Ella and Del and these people, I have never seen any.
She had to get some trees, yeah.
I have never seen
That's
any footage in terms of, probably I wouldn't look it, but in terms of full on sit down and talk with Ella.
No.
I've never seen that.
Actually, no, I just look.
I have not seen those things. Probably people have those things.
Maybe
because
there is, but
look how funny this is, right? And not trying to pull a negative aspect. And I do like to say things before I say it. I like to just speak it anyhow. Ella did with Devon Matthews, deceased, rest his soul, right? And
no, I'm not gonna make it, yeah.
right? And before that, Ella would have been Ella on since Ella was Ella. Or that
Even before Ella was Ella.
That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying, you would have heard about
She was a
Ella
bit short, yeah,
through the music and the arts. And she didn't have anything as per se like new material and this kind of thing. Just like Baron and they would not have had no certain new material. They might have a one song or two song. Like this is singing.
But sometimes you just take it for granted because I think I remember a story last year. Somebody asked a 25-year-old, do you know Ella Handel? She said, I've never heard of that person.
This is my point. So the point I'm trying to make is Devon did that song that year and then he passed away. That was 2017. He died that year, but that was the last current thing that Ella had
in a certain kind of mainstream.
On that mainstream aspect. You understand what I'm saying? And it created now even more of a hunger for me because, like I say, I grew up. My grandfather and my grandmother really was the person who would have bought records from Jimmy's and Rhinos, and whenever she come down or go south. You understand? So those Jimmy's and Thomas Rhinos and that kind of thing. You know, so I would still see the labels and stuff. She was the one to buy all those Ace Cannon albums and buy those Eddie Grant albums and this kind of thing. I thought it was my grandfather because he's musically inclined. He's the music, but when I found out my grandmother used to buy those records, you know, once you go, she buy a record or two and come here back to the days.
Put you in that zone.
Yeah, I kind of, I mean, it was there, but coming forward now to this, sit down and speak with Ella and then I am honestly looking for a host to assist me on this because I would have knowledge up to a certain point.
Or from a certain point.
From
yeah.
a certain point without people, with people who actually lived it.
You could organize that.
Before, right? Because it would be so interesting to have a dual aspect of actually speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Right? Because I could really speak from experience in the 90s. You know what I mean? I could talk about, when I lived the Kiskadee era, and I lived the preacher, and I lived the preacher at that point, and Super Bowl of the 90s.
You know, Baran used to play conga. You had things to
We had
Baran, I just leave only with this trivia. Baran used to play conga in Shorty I band.
Shorty, the Love Circle?
No.
Shorty
Shorty had a band called The Vibrations International.
Right, Shorty?
Yeah, well, he was not a Shorty at the time, he was Sexy Man Shorty. When he was Sexy Man Shorty,
I
Love
don't know
Man.
anyone told.
No, he was the Love Man.
When
When he was singing tunes before he went in the bush. Ella was singing with him, was backup, and he also used to produce Ella's music. So Ella had not a proper album, she had certain singles.
She had bad singles.
From them time,
But big
before she started with her turn thing. Google a track called Second Fiddle, and I will send it down the rabbit hole. Timothy Watkins Jr. used to play congas in Shorty I band. So, in terms of sitting down and stories, and I used to hear these stories in a place called the Engine Room that used to be run with Robin Foster.
Pen Marva.
Yeah,
Ossie.
yeah. Well, Rudder, Sprang.
Charlie Suits.
No, the talkers.
Yeah.
The fellas with the history. Rudder, Sprang, Robin. So another piece of pasture. And I was fortunate to sit at the foot of the elders and hear them stories. Certain stories cannot be retold either to him.
Well, of course.
At the time I post up something, rather say,
Hey, big man.
put that on.
Yeah. I mean, it was the era. It was the era.
That's some different kind of thing.
Just somebody called me the other day, and usually, honestly, I'm now starting to regain that sort of confidence. Before people are calling me coffee, even Rodney and they, there might even be a conversation or argument or whatever it is about some artist or entertainer, whatever. I used to be involved like that, like real. And I was upset with myself for some years because I dropped the ball. But just last week, I think it was Paul and himself.
You can't know everything.
Called me big man. What was Duke name again? What's Duke name? I think it was like my name or something. What's Duke name again? Calvin Bow. I mean, off the back foot.
Right.
I would know these things. I would know the top of the thing. But sometimes on all these entertainers don't even have those history of themselves archived anyway. So you can't really get all the information. You have to sit down and talk with people.
You have to sit
or talk
down
with
and
the person who was in
or
the
somebody who was there.
Yeah.
And hope that they're not making shit up, which
There's no point.
Which could work as well too.
It could work, but I like, and again, the whole concept of this is to sit down and talk with the person who live, and not.
And I have to admit too that as I said, long times ago, certain things I might not have absolutely correct.
Yeah.
But I know I met Vince on the corner. I know Marcus tell me not shipping us. I know I tell like what that and certain things and whatever. But you know, I'm willing to be corrected.
And I didn't know what a clan was but a home front.
That's what I say.
You are saying, how I say it, big man.
Coffee.
Yeah, we had to move for them. I had to move. My daughter waiting and thing. But this is what happened on the block here. All this time goes because when you get inside the history, it's a vibe.
Exactly, but it's really enjoy it.
Listen, we have to do a part two.
Well, this is doctor then.
You gotta do a part two, so I mean, I appreciate you for passing through on the block.
Yeah, man.
Oh, see, Merrique, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure we dig in the family history, the family tree. Yeah, we probably related somewhere down the line, you know. So for today, this has been on the block. Ozzy Merrique was our guest today / host in a sense because it was a crazy bit of information and knowledge has passed through, you know. So we shall definitely come again at this and do a part two version of it.
Man.
But of course, hey, big man.
I have a couple of people I feel like should talk to too, but we will talk off screen.
May I message? Let me get to the vibe. I want to get down to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
And heart and love, peace.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
continue the good fight and stay in our zone. But
make sure they come down. Germany Junction.
We started back on the 30th of April.
Correct.
So this podcast is going to come up pretty well, like this week.
Next week. Good time, Merrique.
Yeah, so it's going to come off, you know. So it's been I don't know, a historical year again. Stuart Young is now Prime Minister.
Imagine.
Imagine that.
Feels like 1990 all over. I go on.
This has been On The Block. Peace, love, keep it together, keep the culture alive. Yeah.